Good evening and welcome to Stupid O'Clock News. I'm Lewis Lee. You're going to have your aircraft, aluminum, stainless steel, even your titanium. A satellite is being launched later this year, built from plywood. Visa Woodsat, built by it would have to be Scandinavian tech company Arctic Astronautics, will measure a mere 4 inches by 4 inches and weigh in at just over 2 pounds. But in that small package, there will be plenty of science going on. The nano satellite will be coated in aluminum oxide to prevent the plywood from releasing gases into the void of space. There will also be pressure sensors to monitor onboard cavities and their reaction to vacuum and extreme temperatures. Also, there will be 2 cameras that will help scientists visualize whether the golden oak or walnut stains will look better against the pale blue dot of Earth. The satellite was scheduled to launch earlier this year, but even Norwegian scientists had trouble building the satellite using the instructions from IKEA. That's the news. Let's start the show.
Okay, and we're back. And there's John. I'm trying to get him in there.
Hey, John.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Yeah, apparently StreamYard's having hiccup issues tonight.
Hello.
I cranked everything down to the lowest video setting so the audio would quit chopping up.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you need to tilt up just a little bit more, Dan. The top of your head's chopped off.
well, nobody minds that.
There you go. You need a little headroom. I got too much headroom.
Because you're short.
Max headroom 6.2 feet.
You're diminutive, you know?
That's true.
Oh. So how's everybody doing this week?
Oh, doing
As
great.
I said earlier, a solid 5.
A solid 5. Lewis, I'm serious about you need to do, with all the cooking stuff that you do and all that, you need to start you a YouTube channel.
I like that. I saw that butter thing you did.
God, it was so easy. I was looking at Facebook this morning, and, of course, it always has your memories. And apparently 1 year ago today, I published a video. I shared a video from Chef Jacques Pepin where he showed how to do that. And he was talking about how, he'll sometimes have leftover heavy whipping cream after making the
I do
dish
right now, as a matter of fact. Yes.
Yeah. And he'll just pour it into a food processor and turn it on. And it takes, a few minutes, 3 or 4 minutes for it to get to the stage where it's like whipped cream. Okay.
Yeah.
Which if you added a little bit of sugar, you would have a whipped topping that you could use. But then like less than a minute after that, it starts to turn yellow and gets to the consistency of putty.
Why does it turn yellow? I wondered.
I don't know. I was wondering that myself because it's a nice bright white when it starts.
Where the hell is Alton Brown when we need him? Joe, call Alton Brown, get him on the show.
You could always call my friend from college, Chef Christie. She's down in Atlanta, and she is a cordon bleu chef actually, and does the cooking shows.
Really?
I recommend if y'all can look her up.
You've been having this show for a year, and you just mentioned a cordon bleu chef.
Well, I mean, she's a little bit younger than I am, but she's had the training. She's passed the classes. I mean, good grief.
Well, how did the butter taste, Lewis?
Tasted great. I mean, as good or better than store-bought butter.
Hey.
I mean, it was
now did you put
fresh.
Did you put a little salt, or you? Well, of course,
No,
your heart.
I don't use salted butter, so I didn't put any salt in it. I'm going to use it as is, but what I want to do is now I want to make some garlic butter, and I want to make some rosemary butter, and maybe some cinnamon honey butter.
I got a suggestion for you. Cinnamon maple butter.
Okay.
You just find a nice grade A maple syrup, and then it with cinnamon, and it's just that's the 3 components right there: butter, cinnamon, and
yeah. Okay.
And you can find recipes for it online. But
instant French toast.
No. Instead of regular baked potatoes, when you do your grilling and stuff like that, do sweet potatoes.
Yeah, I
And
started
add
to
the
say
maple cinnamon butter.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Denise likes sweet potatoes.
that would be excellent on
Okay.
sweet potatoes. Some people can't go for it, but
Mhm.
I treat them like a dessert myself, but instead of like a baked potato.
And go ahead and get this in case she hadn't made it in here yet. Carleen says 84 minutes, and she posted at 7:35. So
Bless her heart.
So apparently she wanted to be in the chat room before anybody else except streamer. Hey, Karen.
There's your stuff.
Yeah, there's your answer.
I have lovely friends.
The science behind this is the beta carotene, the yellow pigment, found in grass eaten by the cows, which is stored in the cow's fat, carried into the milk. After the butter is churned, the beta carotene pigment is exposed as the butter fat is separating, leaving a beautiful yellow butter product. Thank you, Karen.
I wonder if that's got anything to do with the oxygenation of actually doing the mixing.
I don't know. But to finish the description, though, once the yellow solid gets to that putty consistency, you'll notice that there's a white liquid in there too. All you got to do is pour that off. That's buttermilk.
Oh, is it?
That's buttermilk. And then you take the solid and you just kind of squeeze the rest of the moisture out of it. And if you got clean hands, just squeeze it into that buttermilk container.
I was going to say, did you use cheesecloth? Just out of curiosity.
No, I used paper towels. I mean, I've seen people use cheesecloth. I didn't have any handy, but I just used a paper towel. I just patted it on it and then formed it into a little cylinder and put it in a container and put it in the refrigerator and let it chill and stiffen a little bit.
What'd you do with the buttermilk?
It's also in a container, but there's not a lot. You only get about maybe 10% by volume buttermilk as opposed to butter.
Now, when you make biscuits in the morning, pour that buttermilk into the biscuits, and then and then butter the biscuits with your fresh made butter.
Yep. Yeah, if I could just grow some flour and make my own. Grow some,
wheat
grain, wheat grain,
whichever grain you are not allergic to.
Yeah. But it was just so easy. The whole process took 6 or 7 minutes. It was astonishing to me how easy it was.
Has Karen been on the show before? Does anybody remember?
I don't think we've had her as a guest.
No.
She might have commented a few times.
She's one of my LibertyCon buddies.
Yep.
She's always there doing.
Yeah.
I think LibertyCon, their virtual LibertyCon kicks off tomorrow, right?
You tell me. We'll both know.
Is it tomorrow or is it next weekend?
I don't remember.
I thought we still
had. I'll do the Google foo thing.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, thanks to Karen for
straightening us out on that.
That was great.
Cool.
That was great information, Karen.
Yeah.
Lewis, if you ever do manage to go to a con, you got to meet Karen. Okay. Karen. Yeah. And
yeah, she's a sweetheart.
It's next week. Joe, it's next week.
It's next week. Good.
I thought we still had some time.
7 days, 15 hours, 48 minutes, and 0 seconds. Okay.
Well, time that one just right.
I nailed that one.
Yeah. I've already done the pre-recording for the one panel I was asked to do, and I made it plain that if they needed me to do something live, just message me, and I'll try and make sure that I've got the time off from work. So.
And by the way, guys, my news story was not a total fabrication. Only the last part about the IKEA instructions was there's a picture of the Woodsat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read about it. Yeah.
4 inches by 4 inches. I mean, yeah.
It's the size of a
Well,
brain.
we're guys. To us, 4 inches is,
No.
Well, the thing is, realize it's got to transmit.
Yeah.
So the transmitter's got to be
it's got to
30% of the size of the satellite.
Do you know that it is the most expensive satellite ever sent into orbit since the price of plywood skyrocketed?
Probably.
Yeah, they figured out plywood is actually going to be cheaper than titanium, but not by much.
A year ago, they were right. This year, not so much. Oh, here's one for you, Lewis. Here's a news story for you.
What?
They found a dead murder hornet in Washington right outside Seattle.
Okay.
Now, here's the problem. What the hell do they have in Washington State mean enough to kill a murder hornet?
Mosquitoes.
No, that would be in Louisiana or Mississippi.
Yeah, and Georgia.
Yeah, really.
What have they got? Probably bald eagles.
I don't know. Hey, Lewis may have heard about this. Have you ever heard of Operation Big Itch?
No.
Okay.
That does sound familiar, though.
It does sound familiar. If you ever watched Doctor Strangelove or How I Learned to Love the Bomb,
Yeah.
they actually mentioned it in the movie. But it is an actual real military operation where they were testing whether or not mosquitoes could be used as a vector for biological warfare.
Oh, hey, Carl.
So what did they do? They dropped 300. They dropped 300,000 mosquitoes in Georgia. That's your government for you. They added mosquitoes to Georgia.
Like we would even notice.
And they did several of these, actually. Apparently, they've done 3 of them, and they're all in Georgia. Apparently, they have the U.S. government has something about dropping mosquitoes in Georgia.
Oh, they dropped all kinds of things on Georgia. I mean, they dropped nukes off the coast of Savannah.
That was an accident now. Now, Mississippi, they actually purposefully detonated 2 of them in Mississippi.
John, here's a little trivia for you. Fort Oglethorpe. We were chosen to start a post here.
Yes.
Because we were about to enter the Spanish-American War, and the U.S. Army was looking for some place with similar topography and climate to Cuba to train. And they picked Fort Oglethorpe.
And
the government censored him.
Yeah, you completely froze up and you said,
did I?
Yeah.
You said, and they chose Fort Oglethorpe.
And they chose Fort Oglethorpe because it had a similar topography and climate to Cuba.
Huh.
Well,
really? I would have thought someplace in Florida, maybe. No, they chose Georgia. But it's good because it wound up being the most modern cavalry post for decades after that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen the movie Dead of Honor, Lewis?
I've heard of it. I have not watched it.
Don Johnson is probably the best movie Don Johnson's ever been in. Okay. And the whole movie is about where the cavalry switched from horses to mechanized and motorized equipment.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they left out the camels.
Oh no, that was a different story. That was a Disney movie. And yes, there was a Disney movie based on the camel course.
Yes.
And Slim Pickens was in it.
Well, didn't they actually look into ostriches?
Not that I know of. I know they looked into camel. They were serious about the camels, especially fighting the Indians in the desert Southwest.
Yeah.
Well,
ships of the desert.
Yeah. Well, one thing that killed a lot of the exotic animals was they were referred by Nathan Bedford Forrest before the Civil War.
But speaking of the transfer or the changeover of the cavalry from horses to mechanized, Fort Oglethorpe was one of the major proving grounds for the Bantam car, which would later be named Jeep.
Yeah.
Short for GP,
and the Harley Davidson motorcycle.
And the Harley Davidson, yes, that is correct.
They tested both of those down here at Fort Oglethorpe.
Yep.
And wasn't it also the blueprint for MASH units?
That is correct. The MASH unit was perfected here. The 33rd Mobile Surgical Hospital. They didn't have the Army in it by then. I think they added that sometime before Korea. But at the beginning of World War II, the Mobile Surgical Hospital was perfected here. And we had, they called Fort Oglethorpe the West Point of medical.
Yeah. Yep. I wonder if that had something to do with the Women Army Corps base here.
No,
I'm serious because the nurses and everything.
Yeah, no, it was strictly a cavalry function. Wow. Being mechanized. They couldn't carry a surgical hospital on the back of a horse, but once they started moving over to Jeeps and trucks and deuce and a halves, and then they had that availability of mobility.
And now they've completely done away with the surgical hospitals.
Well, the helicopter. The helicopter actually kind of got rid of that.
Yeah, the high capacity helicopter. You could put two. During Korean War, you could put two wounded men on a helicopter. One if he was well enough to sit, so you could have up to three.
But those were the Bell helicopters, weren't they?
Pardon?
Those were the Bell helicopters, weren't
they? Yeah. But now with the Black Hawk size, you can start the treatment in the helicopter. So if you can start treatment in the helicopter, you can afford to go farther behind the line to bring them to a medical facility. They are air ambulances now. They are not just transportation. Yeah. They are an operating room on the wing.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
They're just like our life flights.
Yeah, Life Force. Yeah. I've flown with Life Force, and believe me, inside those helicopters is an amazing amount of medical technology.
Do you remember the Sikorsky Sky Crane helicopter?
Yeah,
sure. Spider looking thing, and it was a heavy lift helicopter.
Yeah,
but
a big sucker.
There used to be.
They would carry.
I remember when I was a kid, they had this thing. They had a pod that they slung underneath that had a ramp in the back.
Yeah, it was in a Connex.
Basically, and it was a surgical. They had an operating room on this helicopter that they could take out, and they could either drop it where it needed the operating theater and it had its own generator and everything, or they could fly in, pick the people up, and fly them out while the guy was operating on them.
Now, I didn't know about that. I knew that they could transport prefab ORs, but I didn't know that they could do anything in flight with the Sikorskys.
Yeah, well, turbulence is going to kill you.
That thing, that is that helicopter has, if you ever look at one, if you ever get a chance to see one, they've got one on display down at Camp Shelby at the military museum there. But it's kind of cool. They got a pilot and a co-pilot up front, and right behind the co-pilot, there's another seat facing to the rear with a big bubble. Mm-hmm. That's the loadmaster.
Yep.
He has a joystick.
It's
and
the
he can
same
control
design.
The winch underneath the helicopter and shift it back at left and right and up and down. So
it's the same design they used in the space shuttle so that they control that the Canadarm. Same setup. They, the mission specialist or the load specialist was right behind the cockpit, and they had that window out into the cargo space and all the controls to operate that Canadian arm. So, yeah.
We've run up against the most interesting topics.
Yep.
In short order, too. I mean,
Yeah. Went from making butter to hospitals
space
and
shuttle arms. I mean,
John posted up the link to the LibertyCon virtual next weekend, libertycon.org.
yeah,
And then he also posted up about the skeeter infestation of Georgia.
Operation Big Buzz was the mosquito one. I said earlier, Operation Big Itch. That was the one with fleas. Yes, that's your government tax dollars at work.
Okay. Hey, they also tried to figure out how to make pigeons pilot bombs. Yeah.
You know, they did a chemical warfare experiment in San Francisco, and it actually killed somebody.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Okay. They did one in the New York subway system. Gave everybody the flu.
I'm going to shift gears one more time and say, Lewis, what the hell were you thinking?
Oh, my comment on Uncle Carl?
No, the recommendation.
Well, that was a direct result of my comment on a particular post on Uncle Carl's Secret Humor Group.
Okay, I must have missed the comment.
Yeah, well, I showed her.
Yeah.
And she said, well, where did you find that? You know, I showed her the comic.
Yeah.
And where did you find that? And I said, it was on Uncle Carl. She says, I'd like to join that. That's some funny stuff. And I'm like,
oh, is that the one that joined today?
Yeah, that was my wife. And so she joined.
Oh, my goodness.
She saw what I had commented under that comic. And she was like, must be your ex-wife. And I said, well, yeah, not you. She says,
Oh.
So how big is the doghouse you're sleeping in tonight?
Well, you're looking at it.
There is a couch down there, remember.
There's a futon down here. And
the green room is tomorrow, and you will probably be served with a divorce summons by Monday.
Hey, wait a minute. Does that mean we ought to be on the green room tomorrow night?
We don't have to. Just if we want to laugh at the serendipity or the
Denise is a really good sport.
I'm having a really weird week. Okay, give me a break.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. John, Dan, keep everything in line. I'll be back in just a few minutes.
Oh, hell no. You leave, it's ours.
Yeah, forget about it.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk bad about Joe.
Yeah.
I'm still listening. I've just got to go off camera for a few minutes.
Oh, nose picking time. I just do it right on the air.
What could we possibly say that we haven't already covered about a dozen times in the last 2 years?
Yeah, really. 2 years? Oh, it just seems like 2 years.
Yes, it
almost
does.
A year and 3 months?
A year and a half.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Tuesday, I got my second COVID shot. Yay me. Okay. So I'm now fully Moderna vaccinated.
Join the club.
What side effects did you encounter?
Well, I can no longer drink beer, and I can lift a school bus. Other than that, it ain't so bad.
I'd sue. No longer can drink beer. That's un-American.
What's this?
Well, I got my
first throw up. I'm going to turn your camera off.
I got my first shingle shot a week ago today, and it finally stopped hurting about 2 days ago.
I'm better now. Okay. Feels so good. No, I got to admit, the second shot was a lot worse.
Mine wasn't a lot worse, but
the first one didn't bother me hardly at all. It was a little sore. This one, I woke up and it felt like somebody hit me in the arm with a baseball bat. I mean, it's and the bad part is I was helping. Okay, my uncle died Sunday.
Oh,
so we're downtown. We're downtown Tower apartment cleaning out his apartment. So I'm sitting there. My mom's asking me something. So I walk into the door to the bedroom, And I lean up against the door frame, right on where they put the needle in my arm. It's like, oh, I'm pretty sure that building is full of veterans, strangely. They're all retired veterans. I'm pretty sure they've heard these words before. They were just surprised to hear them that loudly that day. Okay. Because we had the window open.
I'm sure 3 counties away were probably surprised to hear them that loudly too.
It's kind of funny. My mom keeps talking about this, and she told me he lived in a tower down there. It says it's one of the new ones. New ones? Well, I know they built some new apartment buildings down in that area.
Down where?
The Patton Towers.
Yeah.
He lived in one of those.
Okay.
Matter of fact, he lived in Tower 1. And she said it's the new one. And I knew they built
since the 1960s.
I knew it was. They built some new apartment buildings down on the riverfront, and she said Tower, new one, and I'm like,
oh, hold on. You said Patton. You mean JC Towers?
The ones right down on the river at Martin Luther King and Riverfront Parkway.
That's JC Towers.
JC. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, JC's actually got the ball rolling and got the funding to build those towers.
JC.
Yeah, Junior Chamber of Commerce.
Wait a minute.
Civic organization, JC's.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was a JC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is Patton Tower the one that's downtown next to the EPB?
Patton Towers is downtown. It's old as dirt and
Grandma lives in that one. Yeah.
Huh?
For a while, then she moved up to Hidden Acres. And let me see.
Patton Towers is awful.
This one ain't much better.
No, they're not.
They're only 70 years old. That's
Cool. Well, they were. No, were they?
They were around when I was born.
Wow. Okay.
That was
some reason I thought the JC Towers were built in the 60s.
60s, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's 60 years.
Yeah, the old Patton Hotel was built
in the 19th century.
1800, yeah.
Yeah.
Late 1800s, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way. Anytime they have vents in the building that remind you of the Reed House, it's an old building.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the new. Right now, it's closed because of that fire. Because they've got to update the electric.
They've let everybody back in now.
Oh, they're back.
Yep,
apparently.
Okay,
that was one of my stories 2 weeks ago.
Is that tower? Now, was the fire in Tower 1 or Tower 2?
No, that was Patton Towers. That was down
Patton Towers. And there's only one tower.
Okay, yeah. I don't think you could burn that building down if you wanted.
He got that CRS disease.
Yeah.
I don't know why I keep calling those two towers up on the hill the Patton Towers.
They're not. They're the JC Towers. Patton Towers is downtown tower. There's only one. It's downtown, built in the 1800s, and should have been torn down 30 years ago.
Either that or completely rebuilt and turned into condos, which I bet the developers wish they could do.
Yeah, but
which is probably why there was a fire there last night. I didn't say that out loud, did I?
Well, that broke out on the 7th floor and was a resident smoking in bed.
Strangely enough, every day that I've been down there to JC Towers, the fire alarm has gone off for the same damn reason.
Same thing at Mary Walker Towers on Alton Park Boulevard. Every day at noon, the fire alarm goes off. Fire department has to show up.
Okay. I went down in the lobby while the fire department was there, and the people that run the building know the fire department on a first name basis.
Yeah.
That's the tenants know the fire department on a first name
Anybody that works downtown knows every day at lunchtime you hear the fire trucks.
Was it lunch already?
And that's where they're headed is Patton Tower.
Because somebody set off the smoke detector cooking.
No. Their automatic alarm is just faulty. It goes off almost every single day.
Hey, don't tell anybody, but I blamed my mom because she was smoking in the room.
Oh, okay.
I told my mom, well, that's what you get for smoking. Because she had just sit down from going through all the stuff. She had just gone through a bunch of pictures and stuff that he had in his closet. And it did that, what Dan just did. Just sat down, did that, and about then the alarm went off. I said, don't you know you're not supposed to smoke in here? I had the window open. The smoke alarm don't care.
Go stand on the balcony.
I've been trying to get my mom to quit smoking for 40 years. Easy. That's conservative estimate. And what does my mom do? Kiss my ass. Okay.
My mom
now we know
stopped
where you
smoking,
got your attitude.
My mom stopped smoking May of 1977 when she died.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Same thing with my dad.
that.
January
This
of
isn't the murder.
1981.
Hey,
when he
Lewis,
died.
my Uncle Jim, and now this is weird. I wanted to ask you about this. He said he was a Navy medic, and he's got all the Navy stuff. And the medic struck me as kind of odd because I thought Navy.
He wouldn't have called it
corpsman.
that. It would have been corpsman. Yeah.
Exactly. So I'm wondering if just everybody else said medic because they didn't know what the hell a corpsman was.
He was just tired of explaining it to Army people.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And I would have got it. Everybody else is like, huh? It's like my mom kept telling everybody I was in the reserves when I was in the National Guard.
Yeah. Civilians get everything confused.
Anyway, he was
I thought reserves was National Guard.
No, two completely different organizations. They even have a different command structure.
Okay, I just learned something.
No, National Guard
is state run.
Reserve
they belong to a federal organization, but each National Guard unit or each National Guard belongs to a state. For the example, Tennessee National Guard is commanded by the governor of the state of Tennessee and the adjutant general.
He has to approve. He has to approve them being used by the federal government. That's up to him.
Right. If the federal government wants to send the Tennessee State Guard somewhere other than Tennessee, he has to get the governor's approval.
And the governor can say nope.
And the government can say no. Kiss my ass. Okay. Yes, he can. But I think there's actually, I'm not sure exactly how it works, but I think there's actually a ruling in a national emergency that the president can say, well, kiss my ass too. And call him up anyway.
Yeah, really. Or kiss your funding goodbye then.
Well, in a national emergency, that usually means nuclear missiles are flying or some shit like that.
Not any of mine.
But reserves are you have either served your time, but not your whole time. Because like when I joined, it was a 6-year enlistment, but I chose to go 4 active, 2 reserve, which meant that after I mustered out from active duty, then I had to show up to reserve drills once a month and 2 weeks a year.
Strangely enough, I was in the Army long enough that my reserve commitment was pretty much met.
Yeah.
So they basically sent me this.
Well, I could have gone 6 active and had no reserve.
That's how I went. They basically sent me something that said, welcome to the reserves. By the way, you're done with the reserves. And
yeah.
Unless you really want a real bad.
Unless somebody starts throwing missiles at somebody else, I wasn't going anywhere in the reserves. So,
yeah.
Now,
you can join just reserves.
If you can join just
which is what Kevin West did. Kevin West joined just the reserves. He's never been active duty Navy. He's never been assigned aboard a ship, but he just reached the rank of captain. It kills me.
Wait a minute.
I served
Navy
on a
captain
every freaking day of my enlistment.
Okay.
I didn't get anywhere close to captain.
Let me explain something to everybody that's not Navy. Okay. A Navy captain is the equivalent of a Army or Marine Corps or Air Force full bird colonel. That's one step below general.
Yep.
Well,
yeah.
Well, one step below admiral.
Admiral, yeah. Those things. Yeah.
So if he hangs around a little longer, he's up for
He ain't.
admiralty.
He ain't.
Hey, there you go, Lewis.
And I kind of talked him. He could have gone. He could have gotten out, but I kind of talked him into. I said, "Man, you cannot retire months away from getting wings, man. Getting that bird on your collar."
Hey, Lewis, start calling him Admiral West.
No.
Just to put the idea in his head, so he starts getting that. So he starts getting that glitter thing.
When he goes on Navy duty, who has to wake up early in the morning to cover for him?
Chief Lee.
Yeah, Chief Lee.
Oh, I was telling you about my uncle being in Navy corpsman.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He got stationed in San Diego for the entire Vietnam War.
Oh, wow.
He never served on a ship.
I
have no idea what you do in San Diego as a Navy corpsman without.
Well, during Vietnam, San One of the two.
Everybody?
Well, it was one of the two boot camps.
Yeah.
So they have to maintain a hospital.
People,
yeah. They had that.
Oh, he was out there giving Motrin to new recruits.
Basically. But I mean,
I like that joke. Okay.
There are all kinds of things medically that happen in boot camp, and you know that. I mean, I happen to have lost a molar everywhere in my mouth, so my wisdom teeth came in fine. But I mean, just about everybody in my boot camp company, which we called training units, everybody in my training unit wound up going through the dentist to get their wisdom teeth pulled.
Oh, that's fun.
So there was a whole week where there wasn't a whole lot going on in my training unit.
Just
you had guys walking around looking like the Godfather.
I'm trying to remember. There's that one shot they take that needle and they poke you 3 times. Now I think it's the TB time test.
Yeah, that's a tuberculosis test.
And strange enough, everybody in my unit, apparently we may have gotten a bad batch.
Oh.
And everybody had a major, normally you just
reaction.
Get the pustules.
Yeah.
Everybody had a major reaction to it. I was one of the worst.
Man. Sorry to hear that.
What was his name? I'll remember in a minute. Me and this other guy actually had to go on sick call for it. And everybody else was complaining. Everybody else was complaining about it. When me and him went on sick call, they were like, "That's unusual." And I told them when I was there at the hospital, I said, "Yeah, there's a lot of people that are complaining about it." So they were like, Next thing we knew is they came by. They sent doctors by and checked everybody just to make sure they hadn't gotten. Oh, just so you know, this was back when the AIDS epidemic was first breaking out. So everybody was scared about that too. And they didn't know how it was going to affect everybody and stuff like that. And they were still using the pneumatic guns.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
For giving you the shots. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, a couple of months after I got out of basic training and went to my first duty station, they sent us a card telling us that we're no longer using those guns because they can spread blood products. And they're worried about the AIDS epidemic and spreading stuff like that. And they sent me this card saying, "Hey, go get yourself checked because you may have, AIDS." They didn't even call it HIV. They didn't even know it was HIV back then. It was just AIDS back in the early 80s, mid 80s. And
boy in the bubble syndrome. Yeah.
Yeah. And we got there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, vaccines are completely safe," and they don't remember a lot of these things. I can remember in elementary school, we all had to go to the cafeteria in the school, and they were giving everybody the vaccine for the swine flu. This was back in the 70s.
Yep.
And I've actually had stupid kids tell me they didn't have swine flu back in the 70s. I'm like, really? I got the vaccination for it. Why?
Yeah, really?
Isn't swine flu pretty much the Spanish flu?
I don't know.
H1N1?
No, it's different.
It's
Oh,
different.
okay.
One's
There's
a pig,
swine flu.
One's a pig, one's a chicken.
Well, swine flu and avian flu,
Yeah.
and Spanish flu was
Where's
completely
Heather
different.
when we need her? Damn it!
And now we got bat flu.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Oh, you took the
Bat
words right out of
flu.
my mouth. I'm glad you did that, not me.
Hey, I've been drinking beer all day. So,
No, you were talking about AIDS when in 1988, I was still in Louisiana. Heard about a program that they were doing at Angola State Penitentiary, treating AIDS patients. Pretty much, they were the front line research because it was a closed community, and so they could try different.
When you say Angola State Penitentiary, is that in America or is that in Angola?
No. Louisiana State Penitentiary at Angola is the full name.
Clarify that.
It's the big Louisiana State Prison. It's the one with Sparky.
I've heard it. Yes.
Okay. So because they had a closed population, they were able to try different drug therapies on them with some degree of certainty that there weren't too many outside influences or factors. Mm-hmm. So I had heard about that. So I went to Angola to do a story on it. And the warden was kind of impressed that I was even willing to be around these prisoners. And he said, look, we've been trying to figure out how we can best train all of our corrections officers and employees around here how to deal with blood spills, because I'm sorry, there are going to be fights and stabbings.
Right.
There's going to be blood. We need to teach them how to handle that in this new era. And so basically, he said, look, I will give you unlimited access to this
way to go, Geraldo
program if you will produce this video for us.
And make us look good.
Absolutely. Well, they did look good. If you look in the history books, the research that was done in the U.S. prison system, specifically at LSP Angola, it was absolutely instrumental in coming up with the drug cocktail that they continue to use today to suppress HIV.
And it probably had a great deal to do with the OSHA training for the bloodborne pathogens that I had to take. I had to take OSHA training every year of the 40 something years that I've been at the factory. And that's some really intense stuff. You get a lot in just a little while, but I've often wondered where the original research was done.
Yep, that's where it was done.
This probably is the main source that you're talking about right now.
Uh-huh.
When I went through infantry basic training at Fort Benning, I was one of the smarter guys in my company. And I'm not saying that to be, big-headed or anything, but I had a high GT score. I did good on my ASVAB test. And apparently because I can do math, they put me in a mortar platoon. That apparently that's the prerequisite for being in a mortar platoon. You got to do math.
Oh, you have to be able to, judge angles and
I can spell my own name. Okay, that was it.
You didn't eat the crayons.
So we were getting the class. They give you a class on.
Sorry, Joe.
On sexually transmitted diseases.
Mm-hmm.
So they go through all the classic ones that the militaries had to deal with since the Spanish-American War. Okay. And they were talking about Vietnam and the Black VD, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to be going to Vietnam sometime next week, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to bring it back. That sort of thing. And anyway, they talked about the big elephant in the room was AIDS at the time. And our first sergeant was giving the class, which he's the highest ranking NCO in the company. He's not our normal drill sergeant. So this was kind of important according to the Army. So we're in there and he asked, can anyone tell me what the acronym AIDS stands for? And of course, me being the smart ass that I was, I stood, raised my hand. So Yes, First Sergeant. Stands for acquired immune deficiency syndrome. And he goes, wrong. It stands for asshole injected death syndrome. And of course, that was the attitude back then.
Yep.
And that was what I went through with all this at the time. And it was scaring the hell out of people at the time because they didn't. You may remember this, Lewis, because you were in the news. But they were talking about how they closed all the bathhouses in San Francisco because the gay men were having sex there or something like that.
Yeah.
And apparently the real culprit was, of course, IV drug use.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is how Freddie Mercury wound up getting it, and he died from it.
Right.
Because he had apparently he'd been hanging out with some buddies in New York, and they had introduced him to IV drugs or something like that, and he wound up. Everybody said that Freddie Mercury got it because he was gay.
Yeah, he was bisexual.
Well, he was bisexual. Yeah. But the fact was he was hanging out with people that were doing IV drugs in New York at the time, and that's probably actually how he got it.
Yeah.
More likely, now stop talking about me.
More likely, it would have been the time.
We're not talking about you. I can't get a word in edgewise. These guys have a good conversation going, so I'm just letting them roll.
Yeah, we're skunking it here. Just
sorry, Joe.
Oh, what are you talking about, Donna? Go in there, smack Joe in the back of the head.
Now you're talking about her. Stop it.
She wasn't my drill sergeant, basically.
Don't give her any ideas. Damn, here she comes.
Hey,
I want to watch her walk into the room.
Bring her in. We won't be able to get a word in edgewise.
Walk in there and smack Joe in the back of the head.
It's the other Donna.
No,
the other Donna's already promised me that.
I was cleaning up a lot of stuff.
And aren't you happy and smiling?
I was cleaning up a lot of stuff from my uncle's apartment today, and I found a really nice frying pan. Yeah. It's stainless steel. It's a Better Homes and Garden frying pan. And it was nasty, horrible, but it turns out it cleaned up real nice. Stainless steel, nice. Matter of fact, it's downstairs in the kitchen. It's downstairs in the kitchen. We cooked dinner in it tonight. So, but I was telling everybody when I told them I brought it home. I said, you'd hate to see it in the hands of a mad housewife. Let me tell you.
Now you're going to give Uncle Carl
ideas for a new book. What?
Oh, it's Donna. Oh,
that's what I said.
It's me. I had the wrong Donna in mind because I wasn't reading the comments.
Oh, there you go.
Lewis, have you ever heard of a Stargazer cast iron skillet?
No.
Well, when you get hit with it, you see stars?
No, it is a that ain't it.
I know there's some company out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania that makes cast iron skillets that apparently all the Yankees are really raging about because they don't know anything about Lodge cast iron skillets. And
it's they've redesigned the handle, but the thing is they want $80 for a 12-inch cast iron skillet.
Yankees or man bun dope smokers, one or the other.
Well, no.
Well, I'll tell you, Lodge is getting pretty proud of their products too. I mean,
oh yeah,
a good 12-inch skillet will cost you $65.
Yeah.
Well, where are you buying them?
From Lodge.
Are you going to the Lodge factory store?
Yeah.
Kimball?
Yeah.
South Pittsburgh, Kimball, whatever.
South Pittsburgh.
I mean, I guess the cost of used brake drums and rotors are getting expensive.
Oh, my wife found a guy some kid pulled up in the yard today and offered to take off our dead washing machine. And she texted me and said, I hope you're not upset. I knew you wanted to take that stainless steel drum out of there and turn it into a fire pit, but I got rid of it because I got tired of seeing it sit in the driveway. And I'm going, well, no, at least we're rid of the damn washing machine.
Excuse me, Dan.
Yes.
How did someone driving by know that you had a dead washing machine?
Because it was out front next to the toilet and the used tires.
No, it was at the head of the driveway. I've got a really short driveway. And I live out in the country.
Dan, that's where people get the idea of Georgians from. Jeff Foxworthy was talking about you, man.
Hey,
yes, I know. I talk about one too.
Unless you are one, and I are one.
Do you think I'm going to feel any shame about that? I mean, no.
Holy
I
crap.
got it out of the house. I dropped a new one on my foot and had to stay out of work for a week because I had a busted toe. But at least I got it in the house and got it working. The old one sat out there. We talked about all kinds of things to do with it. We were either going to use it for a planter and have something pretty growing out of it, or what I wanted to do was take the stainless steel drum out of it and replace it a cheap piece of tin fire pit that we bought at the store with something that would last a while for a fire pit, but.
I've got one. Well, Dan, if you come up to HallowCon, let me know. I'll have one in the truck and I'll give you one.
Okay.
I don't want the whole.
No. I just got the drum ready to be made into a fire pit.
Oh.
If I can find a wheel that it'll fit into, I'll weld the wheel around the bottom of it. And
you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. I'll use concrete blocks. I am a redneck.
Okay. Who was talking about the Lodge Classic cast iron skillets?
Y'all.
A 12-inch skillet is $29.95 from the Lodge cast iron website.
The deep one? The one for frying chicken?
It's 12-inch skillet.
Oh, that's the inch and a half, 2-inch, not the 3 or 3.
Yeah, I'm talking about like 3-inch deep for frying chicken.
Oh,
yeah.
The lid.
Hang on a minute.
With a lid, yeah, that makes a difference.
Hell, you want a Dutch oven? What the hell are you talking about?
No, I want one with a handle.
Now, do you want the long handle or the two short handles?
No, the two short handles is a Dutch oven.
Right, but
I want the deep frying pan. There's a difference between a skillet and a frying pan.
Okay, well, I don't think they actually make a frying pan out of cast iron. They're all
they do
skillets. So,
well,
let me tell you, they make two different types of skillets. They make the ones with one long handle and one short handle, and then they make them for grilling that have two short handles, so that they fit inside of things like the big green egg and stuff like that. Okay, and I've got one of those just for doing stuff in the big green egg. But let me see. I got cast. Hey, they make carbon steel skillets. I didn't know that. Huh. And
they make them
apparently
here,
they're having a sale on University of Tennessee skillets.
Well, that
trying to get rid of them things. Do we have any University of Tennessee fans on the show? I'm sorry, I didn't.
That's all right.
And Lewis,
I root for you, University of Tennessee, and I root for University of Georgia. But the only college football game I care about is when they play each other.
Okay,
because
they do have a 12-inch. They have a 12-inch 5-quart cast iron deep skillet for $50. $49.95.
Oh well, that's cheaper than I saw.
And the lid is another $30.
That would explain.
Now the glass lid is only $25. Oh, hey, they have a deep fry basket.
Karen just popped something up.
What did Karen pop I can't read that because it's not in English.
It's a 5-quart deep skillet. It's got the SKU
5-quart
number.
covered deep skillet, $69.95. Yep.
Well, I'm going to show off my Google food here.
And yeah, once you get done with that, I was sadly mistaken on the price of the Stargazer.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
How sadly?
How sadly? You want me to go ahead and pop it up?
Might as well.
Go
We ain't
ahead.
got nothing better to do.
Oh, they're crazier than hell.
$145.
Now, where are they at? Wait a minute. I'm going to look that up because I don't know who those bastards are.
I don't know who they are either, but they're not going to sell an awful lot of skillets.
Yeah.
Stargazer cast iron skillets. Let's see where that takes me. Stargazer cast iron. Awarded best skillet by Popular Mechanics. Well, that tells you something right there. Anytime Popular Mechanics tells you how to cook fried chicken.
Yeah. Well, it says American, made in USA, but not where in the USA.
Ships in about 4 months.
That's crazy.
Okay. Apparently, it's lighter than your standard cast iron. It's smoother.
I can go to South Pittsburgh and get one hot off the press. Literally.
Cleaner. Apparently, they're making a lot of claims that I don't think a cast iron skillet can make.
They actually machine the inside of it.
What's the point of that?
They
Screw that. Just season it properly.
Really?
And then,
of course, got to be that's either Yankee or California. It's got to be. Let me see where they're at. Made in the USA. It doesn't say where.
Scroll down. See if it's
New York City.
Farther down.
It's got a lot of scroll down. Let me get to it. Okay.
You get it in two forms: bare or seasoned, pre-seasoned.
I don't trust anybody to season my cast iron but me.
You know, Lodge does have those pre-seasoned ones, but let me tell you something. A good ceramic grill does a wonderful job on seasoning.
Cooking depth is 2.3 inches. Capacity is 3.4 quarts. It's 6.5 pounds.
I had to go to About and find the star. Oh, they were founded in 2015. They've been around for a whole 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah, click on contact.
Allentown,
PA.
Allentown. Well, hey, Allentown's pretty good.
I told you. New York. Oh, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, but that's a steel town. We're talking cast iron.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, they would know how to make it. Apparently, they know how to make it damned expensive, too.
Yep.
Yeah. I think just because Billy Joel wrote a song about them, they're all that in a bag of chips.
And they're closing all the factories down.
Carly
Billy Joel's
best songs,
away.
I love it when they have that concert. When he was live in the USSR and they did that song and the guy is there with a hammer and a big old chunk of steel and bang, just wailing away on it, man. That was like the best concert.
Tchaikovsky, when he wrote the 1812 overture,
who
actually wrote cannon fire into the orchestra. Okay.
Yeah.
And for the first performance, they were real cannons.
Oh, I've seen it done several times with real cannons.
Boom.
Boom. Boom. Yep. And
I've actually seen the Army do that once before, and they had the field howitzers out there, and they actually had those poor bastards out there trying to keep time with music. Pull that lanyard right now.
It's much easier if you don't use the muzzle loaders.
Lanyard.
Because with the muzzle loaders, you got the fuse might not burn down to the right beat of the music.
Yeah, but
it's kind of funny watching the Army guys because I think they only had at the concert I was at 3 howitzers, so they were having to reload these things like Johnny on the spot. And it was like boom boom, and there's 2 of them firing, and so they're trying to get You know, and there's supposed to be 4, 2 on each side of the stage, but this particular field howitzer unit only had 3.
3?
They
had 3?
3, yes.
That's money.
Hey, I've been moving stuff all day. You know what I've been doing all day? I've been moving garbanzo beans. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but apparently, everybody down there at Towers is getting.
Where?
Let me finish. Apparently, they're getting food assistance from the local food banks and stuff like that. Right.
This does not sound like it's going to end well.
My Uncle Jim had bags and cans of beans just throughout his kitchen in his apartment. I don't know if I've ever, well, I was in the Army, I'm pretty sure I've eaten one, but he had bags and cans of garbanzo beans that apparently the food bank has been issued.
Somebody had overstock.
Pinto beans and lentils and garbanzo beans and just all these things you never really see going off the shelves at the grocery store.
Actually, pinto beans moving really well.
It's cheap protein.
But I took a bunch of that stuff. There's a lot of it that doesn't expire until 2022 or something like that. We took all that stuff home. Mom.
So it was from the 1940s then.
And some of it, I actually threw out a case of cans today that the newest can expired. The best buy date was 2019. I was like, I ain't gonna trust that.
No, that one's a little iffy.
Even if it is just beans, yeah.
You don't want to accidentally get that to a food bank or something like that. That needs to go to the landfill.
Okay. Oh, hey, here's a question from the audience. There's a difference between skillets and frying pans.
Okay, Lewis.
We actually taught Carleen something. There's a difference between a skillet and a frying pan.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know if it's official. To me, a skillet is a shallow, a wide, shallow cooking pan that you can do sauteing and pancakes and stuff like that, whereas a frying pan has to be deep enough to hold enough oil or lard to fry chicken.
Right. Mm-hmm. A skillet.
But it doesn't have to be a Dutch oven. A Dutch oven is even deeper and is mostly made for stews, chili, stuff like that, roasts.
A frying pan does not necessarily have to have much of an edge to it. It can be very shallow. A skillet usually has flat, deep sides. It's close to being a pot, just a very short pot.
But a frying pan has to be deep enough.
A frying pan doesn't take a lot of oil. A skillet does.
You can make cornbread in a skillet. A frying pan, it would be mighty thin. It would be a cornbread pizza.
Yeah, it would be a cornbread pancake.
Yeah. Thank you. That was much better.
Now cornbread molds are a whole different.
That's different animal, and we won't get into that because Grandma would kick my ass.
Yep, especially if you get the ones that actually look like an ear of corn.
I've got 2 of those hanging on the wall in the kitchen.
And what's really cool is if you make brownies in it.
Actually, you know what's really cool?
No, I don't think so. I know.
You know what those would look like, huh?
I can beat you. I can beat you on that one, Lewis. If you add
especially if they've got pecans in them.
Yeah, I know, Carl. I heard that too, but
we said the exact opposite.
Yeah. You said that a frying pan had a low and no. Frying pan has to be deep. Skillet can be shallow.
Really?
Yeah.
I've always seen the exact opposite. A skillet normally.
Well, you can't fry in a skillet. That's why it's not called a frying pan.
No. A skillet is not a frying pan.
Right. The skillet.
So
you can cook spaghetti sauce in a skillet.
What?
Yes.
What? No. What Lewis is saying, the skillet is like his flat top. It's got a very low edge. Frying pan has a
Oh.
very deep edge.
So you can get enough oil in so you can fry a whole chicken leg.
Mm-hmm. Or bake cornbread in the oven. And then, as you pointed out, Dutch oven is even deeper, but it's usually got 2 handles on the side and legs.
Sometimes, yes.
Well, I'm used to the traditional ones you take camping or something, but
Okay, hang on a minute. A frying pan or skillet is a flat bottom pan used for frying, searing, and browning foods. It's typically so many centimeters in diameter and relatively low sides that flare
So
out.
many. Whoa. No, cop out. Can't say so many. That is the important point. How deep is it?
That's what I'm reading. Okay, hang on a second. Is 8 to 12 inches in diameter with relatively low sides. Now, this is from frying pan. Apparently, skillet and frying pan is about the same thing, according to Wikipedia.
Well, there's your problem.
A long
what do they know?
well, let me finish reading. Let me see.
Don't be asking Wikipedia. Ask Grandma.
Well, they're saying a saute
Really?
pan. That's one.
Yeah, saute pan is shallow.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is what I typically call a frying pan. Because skillets typically have, well, one of the things you'll see with a skillet is it typically has straight walls. Frying pans typically have the rounded or slanted walls.
Mm.
So, oh, God. Copper frying pans were used in ancient Mesopotamia. Who the hell wrote this damn thing? And then they were used in Greece. Then they were used in Rome.
No, Greece
I've
was used
grease
to
in a frying pan. I've never used a frying pan in grease.
There you go. Hey, there's something to add to your bucket list.
All right. Made in
wait.
cookware says, okay, go ahead.
Before the introduction of the kitchen stove in the mid-19th century, a commonly used cast iron cooking pan called a spider had a handle and 3 legs used to stand up in the coals and ashes of the fire, kind of like a Dutch oven.
Yeah,
Okay.
with a long handle like a frying pan.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Frying pan relatives. A versatile pan that combines the best of both the saute pan and the frying pan has a higher sloping side, are often slightly curved. The pan is called a sauteuse in French, literally a saute pan in the female gender. Okay. Who wrote this crap? A rappy pan. Who the hell wrote? Is a pan used to make rappy pie, an Arcadian potato dish. Okay, this is French Creole. That's somebody who wrote this is French Creole. I can tell already.
Okay.
Louis, you need to look this up. Let's see. The pan is made from aluminum or stainless steel, cast iron, carbon steel, copper. They're talking about construction. It doesn't say anything about dimensions in the construction. It talks about, highly nonstick patina of polymerized oil called seasoning. Now, at least they got that fucker right. Let's see here.
That's right, folks. You tune into Stupid O'Clock, you don't know what you're
You're
get.
gonna hear. Yeah, we're talking about fucking stainless steel pan. Okay. Anyway.
Okay. Apparently, I have it backwards.
Oh,
they're saying, the couple of different sources that I've looked at are saying that a frying pan is the shallower of the two. That doesn't make sense. I've never fried in a shallow pan because it doesn't hold enough grease.
You can fry in a shallower pan, you just don't use as much oil. Now, if you're frying chicken, that typically goes in a skillet because it's got the higher sides.
That's all I want to fry is chicken or fish.
Oh, wait. Hey, we have an expert on board.
Oh, yeah.
Slightly deeper.
Well, I stand corrected.
Now, to be honest, just in Lewis's defense, I cannot remember. Other than buying skillets and frying pans, that the frying pans are shallower and the skillets are deeper. I cannot tell you why I know that. So it's.
Yeah. Carlene says, okay, this is clear as mud, but I'm guessing saying I have skillets. Maybe.
Yeah, but they're still going to hurt just as much if you smack somebody upside the head with
Well,
either one of them.
Okay. First of all, lodge skillets will do much better D damage than a standard stainless steel frying pan.
Oh yeah.
Because we were joking about at one time. I've got a list of like you've got a 10-inch skillet that's like does a D6 of damage, and then a 12-inch skillet that's a D8 of damage, and a 14-inch skillet that does like a D10 of damage. And somebody
or multiple dice.
No, I hate to say this, but if you're swinging the 12-inch skillet, it's a D20. If you're receiving the 12-inch skillet, it's a D1.
Yeah, really. You got a 50-50 chance of living through it. And actually, I'm probably the only one in this room that has actually been on the receiving end of a cast iron skillet being thrown at my head. With scrambled eggs inside. Ruined the carpet. I swear. I mean, there was no way to get that melted spot out of there. Would have had to replace that entire section of carpet. But
now the question is, did you get out of the way?
Oh, I was.
Did you make your saving throw?
Do you know the one thing about trying to attack an old man? They know how to get out of the way. The trick is to not be where the projectile was aimed originally.
Did it damage the drywall?
No. Just the carpet.
Needs to work on throwing ability.
Just the carpet, but it did break the handle off, and I continued to use that skillet for another 10 years just to spite her, even though she was only with me for another 3 years.
Hey, leave that up, Joe. I want to comment on this one.
Yeah,
and Charlie, I just went to Costco and bought a 3-pan set of Tefal frying pans to replace our Revereware frying pans, because we'd had these for Revereware frying pans for forever, and the Teflon was starting to flake off. Public service announcement: if your Teflon's flaking off your pan, get rid of the pan, get a new pan.
Mm-hmm.
And so I replaced them with Tefal. Now Tefal is interesting; it's aluminum, and I don't know what the coating is they put in those things, but that's tough as heck. So
I've got the copper. There's so many of them.
Yes.
But I like the copper. I mean, you throw a little bacon grease in there before you start cooking, everything slides around on it.
Mm. Now, I've got a point to make here. Now, I grew up with my great aunt living across the road from my paternal grandmother. She had a cast iron coal burning and wood burning stove, which was all the cookware she needed. I mean, she had Depression era cast iron skillets and Dutch oven and everything else, but the only stove in her house besides, well, no, she didn't even have one for heat. The only stove in her kitchen was this enormous cast iron monster, and I used to go and chop the kindling for it and bring in a bucket of coal and everything, and she could do just exactly what anybody could do with a modern kitchen in that thing. She knew exactly how hot it needed to be. Didn't even have to look at the little gauge that was on it, just by how much coal was in it, how much wood got in it. Walk in the kitchen, you could feel exactly how the temperature was for the oven or for the stovetop. And I bet that Lewis would kill to have some bitch sitting back there on his patio to play with. Because I mean, it was as big as a Volkswagen.
What you got pulled up here, Lewis?
Well, not a lot of people outside of Louisiana, South Texas, and South Mississippi know what Magnolite is. My ex-wife got the Magnolite in the divorce out I'd almost given up anything but that.
Hey, Lewis, I'm going to do something real quick while we look at this.
What?
Oh, darn it. That didn't work as well as I thought it would. I was going to throw it up full screen.
Oh, okay.
It didn't work.
But this is cast. It's a magnesium aluminum alloy.
Right.
But this is the obligatory vessel in which to cook a good gumbo.
Okay, now
you make a roux in this, and it is gonna be knock your mama out.
Okay, are they porcelain covered?
No, they are not. Okay. And that's the only problem. That's the reason that I have not gotten one. Is because I wouldn't be able to use it on my ceramic top cooker stove anyway.
Gotcha.
Because the bottom's a little rough.
$250.
It
better come with
aluminum.
gumbo.
See, that would not go well on my ceramic top.
I bet it'd go good on that grill out back.
Yeah, but I'm not going to heat up 36-inch grill to heat up a Magnolite pot. I mean,
well, just light up the middle of it.
Yeah.
I'm suspecting there's not much magnesium in this because I know.
Well, there can't be because magnesium is flammable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Mac's on again. Hi,
there you go. Look at the size of that sucker.
No kidding. Now I have got a Lodge, Boy Scouts of America Dutch oven.
Oh, with the handle and the 3 legs.
Yeah,
I used to have one. I gave when we quit tent camping. I gave it away to some people who were tent camping.
It's got the biscuit cooker top. If you know what I'm talking about. Oh, they actually have it. You put all your stew and stuff in the side, and then put the lid on it, and the lid is actually like a frying pan.
Yep,
so you can like put your biscuits.
That's the exact one that I had, man. It was good. Best pot roast I ever made was in that over an open fire because it had the 3 stubby legs. You just sit it right on the coals.
Okay, I'm curious. Hey, Mac, where are you from?
Tiki Taki.
Well, that don't.
Now, I've heard story. I would like to find an old cast iron stove for my fire pit night.
Yeah,
a potbelly stove. You mean cast iron?
No.
Yeah,
like what I was talking about.
Yeah. One you can leave outside, sort of let it rust up, but still use it for outdoor cooking, wood cooking.
You would definitely want to build a roofed-in pergola over it with a stovepipe going up through a sheet of tin, because you don't want to get that sucker rusty. Because if you gonna cook on it, rust is your enemy.
I'd only pan cook on it. But I've heard stories that when the electric stoves came in, the women that transferred from the fire, the wood burners and the coal burning stoves to the electric stoves, burn up everything they cooked for years.
Yep. It was much more difficult to judge how hot it was actually getting.
Yeah. They don't know how to. I think Mac was somebody that just jumped in and made a comment.
He's been on before.
He was on Stupid O'Clock, but he's jumped off.
Oh, has he? Okay.
Yeah.
He usually shows up right at the end of the show.
Now,
makes a couple comments and disappears. So I'm wondering if he's a bot or if he's actually a person. So
he's a person. I'm gonna have to let me check this. Well, it's usually after the show ends that I got to go in and clear out all the porn spam.
Lewis,
you clear it out?
Yeah.
I downloaded something for Lindsay. It was Mrs. Beeman's household management cookbook. It's a couple of 1,000 pages, and it's from the 17 or 1800s.
Wow!
If I can find it, do you want me to email you a copy?
That would be great. Yeah.
I mean, this is old
I think
school.
Oldest cookbook I have in the house is an old
Nine,
Good Housekeeping cookbook
11,
from the 40s, and it's
12,
fascinating to see the
13,
rest.
14.
This talks about
15,
not only gardening but
17,
bringing
Ron, can
the
you mute?
goose and going ahead and getting the goose ready to be cooked from actually walking around in the yard 15 minutes earlier.
Yeah.
And just it's basically it is a cook's eye view of estate management for rich British people in the 1800s.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I sat and read.
So from that era, I would imagine a lot of the recipes are British.
Oh, all of it is. All of it is.
Wow.
Yeah. So if I can find the thing, I will shoot you off a copy. It may take me a while to locate it because I've got a huge file of stuff that I've downloaded, and I might have to even re-download it. But I figure if there's anything in there that you can do on the flat top, you will do it.
Oh yeah.
I typed in, of course, cast iron skillet on my Facebook or when I did my search, and I have over 36 cast iron skillet advertisements on my Bing.
Oh boy.
Oh
well, now your Facebook is going to be full of nothing but cookware for the next 6 months,
which works. I don't mind. I don't mind staring at cookware.
Hey, it beats some of those porn bots.
Yeah, Carl says the only reference he could find to Mac is a rap singer.
Yeah, he's on our show like at least once a week, and I keep seeing it, and I'm like, so I'm wondering if it's there's the other. That's his buddy.
Hey, there's Pops Van Zant saying, "What the hell is going on over here?"
We're talking about skillets.
If you can figure it out, let us know. Yeah, right now we're talking about cookware and skillets, the difference between a skillet and a frying pan.
And some of the other ones. We actually have covered, 5 different types?
Yeah, Dutch ovens and saute pans.
And we had lodge skillets out of Kimball's / South Pittsburgh, Tennessee.
Pittsburgh.
And then we were talking about that Yankee virgin that Joe was enamored with.
Stargazer
iron skillets. I thought I'd tell you something about them.
Yeah. $145, and there's a 4-month wait after you pay for it.
Yeah.
And I told you I could go to South Pittsburgh and get one fresh off the mold.
Pretty much fresh off the mold.
Yeah.
I wonder if you could actually go down there and ask them, can I watch you make my pan?
They do have tours.
They have tours, yeah.
But
yeah.
And as it's coming off the assembly line, go, I want that one. Right there. That one.
So.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Because
I want to watch the pour.
You get to do that. Actually.
I have a friend from the Navy who has been in management at steel companies for decades now, and he just got a job over in North Carolina at a steel foundry. And I've been wanting to visit him anyway. I mean, he's been in Mississippi, Michigan, California, but this is the closest he's ever been. And I may just make an excuse to go see him and bring my camera along. I want to get some footage of that process.
Oh, sure, that would be fascinating.
I used to have to drive National Guard early in the morning.
I'll be right back.
Because my National Guard unit was kind of weird. You had to be there kind of early because of the time difference between Nashville and Knoxville.
Yeah.
So I'd be driving down the interstate to get there, and I would drive past the old steel mill there by Moccasin Bend.
Yeah.
And early in the morning, they're pouring steel. That is cool as hell to be driving down the interstate, look over it, and see the molten metal coming out of the crucible into whatever they're pouring for. Of course, that's all gone now, but
I'll try to find it again. There's a guy on YouTube that his whole channel is melting and pouring aluminum, brass, copper, all that.
They occasionally show it from South Pittsburgh where they're pouring the cast irons and skillets and stuff like that. But it's kind of funny. They'll get some with defects, and they literally just rotate them right around and use it as scrap metal for the next pour.
Yeah, for the next pour. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this one guy made a brass 12-inch skillet. I don't know how it cooked, but it was different. Of course, he polished it up and all that. It was gorgeous.
I told you my uncle was in the Navy.
Yeah.
He has a brass ashtray, and it's currently at that apartment sitting in the sink soaking. And I believe it was made from an 8-inch naval gun round. Bottom
cool.
round. Yeah, I'm trying to clean it up. He had a bunch of old Navy, memorabilia.
If you want to clean brass, forget Brasso. Find Neverdull. N-E-V-R dull. D-U-L-L.
I can beat you on that one. Potash.
Neverdull is what we used on the ship to keep the brass clean and shiny.
You can get it from cigarettes. It will make very good potash. They just don't make very much of it. But if you can find it, that's pretty good for cleaning up too. But Neverdull's good. Brasso's okay, but it leaves a nasty chemical kind of.
Brasso, you got to work it too hard, and Neverdull, it's already got the wadding in there. All you got to do is open the can, pull it out, hold your nose because that shit stinks.
It's got ammonia. Ain't exactly a bed of roses either. Have you ever seen Niccolo?
Mm-mm.
They have Brasso for brass. They have Niccolo for nickel. Not that I've ever had to polish nickel, but I've seen it before, and I'm like,
I'm trying to remember what I was about to tell you.
Oh, of course, the best one, if you're looking for a cheap one, go to the auto parts store, get Mother's. Mother's polishing cream will you can polish anything with that stuff.
Oh yeah.
It'll polish aluminum, magnesium, stainless steel, brass, just whatever. The only problem with polishing brass, you got to use a lot of it because it gets dirty quick. Brass is very dirty metal. You ever heard of Mother's?
Mother's polish?
Mother's polish? It's commonly used. You see it among car aficionados when they're polishing mag wheels. Or paintball gun enthusiasts who are polishing aluminum paintball guns. But it'll polish. Oh, go ahead, Joe. Sorry.
I lost my train of thought.
No,
mine derailed years ago.
Yeah.
My train of thought took a dirt road through the cornfield. Oh, but
hey, while we're here, I've been out of the loop for a bit, so I was going to ask Joe this one. What's up with Elon Musk and the FAA?
I
only caught a couple of glimpses of it in between episodes of Paw Patrol. That's my week.
Well, Elon has about got the FAA under control to help him continue with testing.
All right.
But now with the new Biden administration coming in, they are bringing in old NASA people who are with strong ties with Boeing and ULA and all that.
Imagine that. Old people in the government.
And
getting the old boys network trying to keep the new Turks from doing anything.
And he's put some of these people in the FAA. Elon is progressing so fast that that the rules don't cover what he's doing.
Yeah. Same thing with the internet. I mean, they were trying to control the internet using the same rules that they came up with for radio and television, and it just didn't work. It was a completely different animal. And so they had to, it was a matter of the law trying to keep up with technology, and you can't do that.
Good night,
but
Carl.
Anyway, we were talking about metal pours, and I was going to tell you, John, once a year at Sculpture Fields, at least once a year, they have aluminum pours, and it's usually around Thanksgiving in time for Christmas or whatever. And they will have these compressed sand molds.
Yeah.
Okay. Say a Christmas tree or an ornament or, any number of things. And then they'll give you a little stick and you can customize it. Okay. And then hand it to them and they'll pour molten aluminum in it and makes you a nice little 5x7 plaque. But that is fascinating to watch, because when you're doing the mold, like if you want to put your name in there or something, you have to write it backwards because it's a relief mold. So when they pour the hot aluminum in there, the hot aluminum is going to be the positive finished product.
Right.
It helps if you can think
they
in
do that
photography.
about once a year, and it's a local artist, the same artist who made my sign.
Ah.
So it's awesome to watch.
Well, I think one of the most awesome sculptures over there is the concrete one.
Yeah. And of course, I did the documentary on the creation of that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was
basically
awesome.
The guy dug trenches.
Yeah.
Put
Yeah,
the
he
rebar
made
in
the
everything,
earth his mold.
and then poured it. Then they just dug it out.
Yep.
That's the old-fashioned way.
All right. Good night, Carly.
Good
Glad
night,
you could
Carly.
stop by. But have you ever seen where it's on YouTube all the time, where they pour the hot molten aluminum down into fire ant nests?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's fascinating.
Then they
That
just
looks like the skeleton of a Christmas tree right there.
and then they just turn it upside down, and it's expensive artwork.
Yeah, and it got rid of them fire ants.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy. Wonder how many ants are actually embedded in the aluminum.
Not many. I think they probably, from the molten aluminum, just burst into flames spontaneously.
Yeah.
They would be
They
chemically
deserve
part
nothing
of
less.
it. They would be chemically part of it, but I don't think
Called
any
fire
physical
ants
part.
for nothing.
Yeah. Flame on. That reminds me of the time I found a hornet's nest in the backyard, and I went ahead and dribbled that liberally with gasoline and stood back a fair piece and threw a match. I mean, really threw, and poof. And about 5 minutes later, I had flaming hornets flying out of the ground.
Now
I got some red hornets that I need gotten rid of too. So
those red wasps. Oh, them things are mean. They'll attack you.
yeah.
Really?
Oh, they have attacked me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now I've filled a yellow
yes.
jacket nest.
35 millimeter,
I've been cleaning out my
400 ASA.
I've been cleaning out my uncle's apartment and found 2 of these.
And if you can find anybody that can develop them without ruining them.
No. Pay close attention. These have not been shot. This is unshot film.
Oh my God.
Cool.
You got Lewis's attention just then.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I no longer have a 35 millimeter camera.
I still have one in the other room, and I've
There
actually
you
got
go.
4 rolls of film sitting here that I can use for it.
Hey, you better use
Now-
it up. It's already about 20 years past its expiration date.
You're kidding, brother. But who develops that stuff? Do I have to, like, send it back to Kodak in Japan or something?
Walmart.
No, there is
There are places that do it.
in Atlanta.
One of my uncles used to work for Kodak, and he got me a 35 millimeter camera with one of those pull it like a talking doll thing motor.
The original Polaroids.
No, it wasn't a Polaroid. It was a Kodak.
Was it Kodak? Guys,
Yeah.
Somebody got sued over that.
But
Lewis, your share screen is
use
a little off.
the flash.
What's off
Not the
about
flash
it?
bulbs, the flash
It's
cubes.
showing us and
Oh, let me. I'm hitting stop. There we go. All right, share screen. Oh, window.
Lin-
There we go.
Lindsay was
I
looking in
clicked on the
earlier
wrong
when we were
thing.
talking about frying pans. She thought we had adverts in there because she saw the catalog pages for frying pans and stuff. So
Now, this is not the aluminum pour. This is an actual iron pour, also from Sculpture Fields. It was at their grand opening celebration, and the molds were of bees. So this artist was making these glowing hot bees, and then he would have performance artists. Well, let me just roll the tape. He would have performance artists put these glowing hot bees on a pike and dance around with them in this whole. Why isn't
while
that
they
playing?
cooled,
While they cooled.
Well,
So as they were going around, they were glowing.
yeah, take it full screen, Lewis.
All right.
Oh.
And this is an Atlanta artist who came up for this.
Well, you have to have a good foundry to melt iron.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wait till you see his crucible.
well, all I see is
Is
click
this
to
thing not
exit
working?
full screen.
It didn't start.
What do you mean it didn't start?
It started when he clicked to go to full screen. It went all blurry.
It's just click to
Oh,
exit.
really?
Yeah, we're seeing blurry images, and it says click to exit full screen. That's all we're seeing.
Can
There
you
we
see
go.
it better
Now,
that way?
Yeah,
we
we can
got a
see it.
picture now. I'm
That
no
is
expert.
so fascinating to watch.
I'm no expert, but I imagine aluminum would be not as orange.
No.
Aluminum's red.
See, there it is coming out of the mold.
Oh wow, yeah.
And now they've stuck the pike on it.
And you got to get
all the
it
rest of
out
the
of
way
the
out of
rest
the
of the
mold.
mold.
Without
There you
breaking the
go.
mold.
But isn't that
Oh.
wild? And now they're going to go dance around. The artist commissioned me to shoot this for him.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
But it's, it's at night, and they've got these sticks, and the sticks have paper mache flowers. So now the bees are going to go around pollinating the flowers. Of course, when you touch one of these glowing hot bees to paper mache, what's going to happen?
And go food.
Yeah.
Hey, que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be.
Will be.
Yeah, whatever will catch on fire will catch on
I mean,
fire.
look how many of them he had hot at once. I mean,
That's kind of impressive.
Well, yeah, you got to have several molds out there, but
yeah.
and the heat retention on cast iron is nice.
Yeah.
It'll
they
stay
stayed
glowing for a
few
little while.
minutes.
Hours.
Yep. But you see the paper mache flowers? Now here's
The
one
nice-
that's about to touch the flower. And at the end of the night, people were allowed to buy the bees. I've got one in my front garden.
Really?
The nice thing is that even glowing like that, they still got structural integrity enough to where they're not drooping and
Right.
falling off.
That
Yeah.
we know.
Well, I'm sure Lewis would have filmed that if one of them dropped their wings on somebody's head.
Yeah.
We're sorry about Carl. He had the first one, and it just didn't work out too well.
Now, when they have that, I can see the fireworks from my front porch from where I live. It's
Wow.
pretty cool. But they got to do it in the winter when they do it in the wintertime.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And the one that you were talking about, Joe, is right here.
Oh, the concrete.
Uh-huh. Now this is the guy this thing is 75 feet tall. He
Yeah.
is a world famous artist. He has built these things in China, in all of Europe, Australia.
Oh,
I
I
told
should
him
know his
next time
name.
he
I
does.
should know his name. Cristo?
What?
Cristo?
No. Peter Lundberg.
Okay. Well, I imagine there's several guys working in the same field.
Hey, Lewis, mute that thing. Mute that music. So
Yeah,
Joe
you
don't
might
get
want
hit.
to.
Oh, it's I copyrighted it.
Yeah, Facebook doesn't care.
Yeah. Watch us
Well,
get.
I seriously have the copyright document.
Well, be prepared to give it to YouTube or send them a copy.
Or Joe.
And then there's John Henry has a few sculptures out there, right?
Yeah.
As well as rebar and the earth. So those are the three primary ingredients in my sculpture.
That's a lot of rebar.
Symbolize the,
Not really.
This was the month after the terrorist attack where we lost the 5 service members.
Oh yeah, it's a memorial to them, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did they set that up down there off of 153 and Shallowford Road?
No, this is at Sculpture Fields.
Old Montague Ballpark.
It might look like an earthwork at first, but and then there is some similarity, I suppose. But
that's the artist right there, Peter Lundberg.
Process. It is simply an abstract form. It's done. I'm excited.
Then they had to wait 3 weeks for it to cure.
Well, yeah. You work in concrete, you don't expect to.
Thank you, Karen. I'll throw it up.
But now he's literally breaking the mold.
And Karen says Walgreens still develops pictures from film.
Oh, okay.
CVS might as well. How did I get that thing tied around my arm?
We're going to have this thing standing tall and proud to be a proper tribute.
And there's the beautiful Lookout Mountain in the background.
Yep.
Now, did you do that drone fly through?
I didn't own my drone yet. I had a friend, Michael Kincaid, do that.
Oh, okay.
And then they fixed all the ground around it, put all the dirt back in, and voila. Now they've planted grass, and
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a wonder to behold. It sure is.
Well, the reason I asked about the drone, now if you use drones in any video, you have to be FAA licensed commercial
Part
pilot.
107. Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's what? $80,000 fine or something like that.
Yeah, but guess how strictly they monitor that.
No, they're cracking down on YouTubers now.
People who are monetizing their videos.
Yes.
They're not going to give mine a second look because I'm not monetized.
Well,
hey, you do it.
All right. Yeah, that's it standing up.
There it is.
Which is Pretty cool.
And the thing is go back to it. Look, look in the middle of the left side. You see the black? That's the Bisqueen. It's still stuck to it. And I said, "Are you ever going to take that off?" He says, "No, that's part of the sculpture." I'm like, "Really? It looks like a garbage bag." But hey, I'm not the artiste, so.
Yeah. Sometimes the mold is part of the sculpture.
Now, here you want to hear the story of why that's a sculpture park and not a ball field now?
Because it used to be
toxic dump.
Yep. Well, yeah. I just shared that picture of when I was interviewing former Mayor Corker, U.S. Senator Corker.
Yeah.
And he told me that he used to play ball when he was a kid. He used to play ball
at
on those fields.
Yeah.
And at any given time, you'd be going out for a fly ball and trip over a piece of metal sticking out of the ground. So.
Well, I helped haul in all the dirt that filled that up.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
And to give you an idea of the type of dirt we hauled in there, it's what we dug up when we were laying storm drains.
Oh, okay.
Or sanitary sewer lines, or digging up roads.
Okay.
There's actually a layer of asphalt millings across the whole field.
Well,
former streets of the city of Chattanooga.
Archaeologists are going to love you in the 24th century.
Oh, I'm going to tell you. The 20th the latter part of the 20th century is going to send archaeologists insane in 300-400 years.
I told you, if they ever invent time travel for tourists, I want to go back in time, find a cave, draw a picture of the space shuttle inside the cave, seal the cave so that they won't find it for thousands of years, and just.
You're asking to wind up on Ted Davies' conspiracy theory show when he starts that up.
Did y'all read that I posted the yesterday, where I said mind blown, where a guy went into the caves in France with the cave drawings?
Let's go.
I don't know which one it is. It's a farmer. A farmer took him in. It doesn't have any lights in it or anything.
Okay, so it's not the famous one.
Yeah, and they've discovered why there's like an elephant with 3 tusks, and then there's a wolf carved over top of a bear, and then there's these lines drawn through. And he asked the farmer went in with an old-fashioned lantern. And he goes, once he gets in and gets to looking at it and all that, he tells the farmer, he says, start swinging your lantern around a little bit, changing the light. The sculpture, the carvings on the wall.
It's an anime.
Yes, it animated.
Oh, wow.
It was a proto movie that they. And it as the. Sorry, hit it again. I knew I was going to do it before the show was over. But where the lines were drawn through it, it was an animal in a forest. And as you moved it around, it moved around through the trees because the shadows casted different on the carvings. And that just... But yeah, that was it takes about 3 or 4 minutes to read, but it was a fascinating read. So, and when they went into these other caves, with all the electric lights, there's no shadows being cast.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was, and I did it again, it was carved by torchlight. So it would be moving. And there was this one hallway that you walk down, of mammoths. And as you walk down it, it looked like they were walking down the hallway with you.
Mm.
Which is
that is fascinating. That is actually fascinating. The origin of animated movies long before cartoons or anything else came along. As
Take that,
progressed,
Disney.
That's just that tells you
Does
right
Disney
there.
own it yet? That's what I want to know.
do what?
Does Disney own it yet? That's what I want to know.
They will.
Not
Give
yet,
them
but if it's in France, give them a
We'd
year
like to
or
give
two.
you $24 million for your cave.
And then they'll pack it with dynamite and blow it up. No, that gives you an insight into even back in that time period. I mean, long ago, they were just as smart as we are now, just in a different direction. You can't go calling cavemen stupid no more.
No. Not if they.
Some of them are brighter than what we got walking around the streets today. I mean,
Exactly.
Especially if the streets happen to be in. Well, let's not make a political comment, Daniel.
What's your fortune, John? I saw you open that cookie. It's upside down. Back up just a little bit.
Well, too much green screen, I'm afraid.
Yep.
You're going to have to read it.
I got to manually read it. Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Heaven forbid. Actually, have to use your old-fashioned eyeballs. You will meet a tall, handsome stranger.
Read it out loud, John.
I'm working on it. Ulcers are what you get for forgetting your stomach. Ulcers are what you get for forgetting your stomach.
That's not a fortune. That's a
Bag of
diagnosis.
hammers.
Well, what's the numbers?
Oh,
Oh, Lord.
Don't tell everybody. Everybody will play them.
Oh, go ahead. That'll make sure that they don't ever come up.
Hey, John, glad you dropped in.
Mr. Pika.
If you look on the HallowCon website, you are listed as one of our guest authors. I'll get with you on some of the other stuff that you're going to do. I'm going to need write-ups for that so I can get that in the programming book. I'm going to start the programming book real soon.
That reminds me.
And he says he just finished watching In the Heights. Okay, what is In the Heights?
It's a musical by
okay.
the creators of Hamilton and a couple of other big productions.
Well, I wish it well for everybody whose cup of tea that happens to be.
Well, I just watched Awake on Netflix and Infinite on the Paramount Plus.
I watched Solos. All 7 episodes of Solos on Prime. All but one of them. All but one of them was really good.
Which one didn't you like?
I did not like the one number 6. It didn't make any damn sense to me. It was a woman who, at the beginning of it, she's pregnant.
Oh, and the kid grows up real fast.
Yeah, in a day. That one made absolutely no sense to me. The one with Anthony Mackie, I really liked. I really liked the first one. The first one was a good first one because it did a good job setting the stage. The one with Morgan Freeman, I was really hoping was going to be better, but I just didn't quite get it. Maybe I need to watch it again. I dozed off a couple of times.
Let me tell you, they all, except for that one where the girl was pregnant and the kid grew up and all of them were interconnected.
Through Morgan Freeman, yeah.
Yeah.
I got that, but And even that one was because one of the memories that Morgan Freeman was talking about was coming down the blue chute and meeting his mother. I was like, blue? Okay, well, whatever. But the one with Helen Mirren, I think, was my favorite. Maybe because I've just got a soft spot in my heart for her as an actress.
Now, do you know who her character was? Remember Anthony Mackie's episode where he had
the farting wife?
Yeah. He was how she was talking about nearly dad or whatever it was. That was Anthony Mackie's character.
Oh, Dad 2.
Dad 2, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's and I did it again. That's where they connect.
Joe Dog, are you Italian?
Yeah.
The one that broke my heart though was the Asian girl.
Yeah.
The one that had wow. I mean, her acting for her to, snot ball, just cry on camera like that. And the way she was describing what happened to her at that party and why she got drunk and then what happened. Oh, man.
Yeah, but it
tears you up.
I sort of caught on that those two episodes were intertwined, but once you get to the Morgan Freeman end, they all tied together.
Yeah,
except for that one.
Yeah.
Of course, Peach Jams TV says, "Have y'all seen Sweet Tooth?"
No, not yet. I saw it advertised.
Watched one. I don't remember if it was last night or night before last. I think it's called Time Trap on Netflix. And it was one of those really neat things where you don't know what's going on until about halfway through. And then you go, really? You going to do that? And they did it. And
Which
it worked.
One? Which one?
Time Trap, I think was the name of it.
Time Trap. Okay, I'm going to have to check that one out. Back in the cereal box goes...
It was nice.
Yeah. He says, Johnny reviews movies from his... next review will be the John Wick trilogy. And he says,
I love those.
He said, Helen Mirren is a dish.
Even now.
And he says,
I would have loved to have seen her as a Doctor Who.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
And Michaela Jade is in Deadwood, South Dakota for a big book signing on Saturday. And info on the cave art was part of a Twitter thread.
Would you like somebody to read that actually speaks English, Joe?
Yeah. But there it is, the Twitter thread. That.
It's 11 o'clock. Good night, everybody.
Oh, and we didn't even play our thing, but yeah, we're going to sort of wrap this up because this is ending. We're going to do this. All right, we ain't got much time, so we're going to go ahead and roll in, and we will be running another Last Man Standing. And Dan, I'm going to talk to you about Last Man Standing, how we're going to start doing it on Saturday night.
All right. I'm all ears.
I can stick around for a couple of minutes, but then I'm going to have to get my real job done.
Okay.
Damn it.
All right.
Real jobs, real life.
I know.
All right.
Right to Kevin West.
We're going to keep all this running.
Don't give me Fridays off.
On all this channel. We're going to run the Last Man Standing on this channel, on all the channels for a little while tonight, and then we'll slowly start dropping them out. But thanks, everybody. Hang around for the Last Man Standing. It's going to be right here, and we'll be back in just a minute.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. Up, up the long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.
Oh, well, this seems to have become something official. Welcome to Last Man Standing, and everybody just sit back and relax, and we'll try and be as entertaining as we know how to be.
Yeah. And thanks, Lewis, for staying a little extra late tonight.
Well, I can only say a little bit, but I just wanted to support Dan.
Yeah, Brian has said that this is going to be one of the next Rising Tide shows. So,
oh, cool.
Yeah, well, it works best with a bunch of insomniacs that can stay up all night. But and it's really geared better towards Saturday night when I can stay up all night too, instead of like tonight when I have to go to work in the morning. But you get what you play for.
Well, we don't go much past midnight on Thursday night anyway, because
well, everybody got to get up on Friday sometime.
Yeah, I got some more scrap metal to haul off. I've got to the point now with scrap metal, I just show up and there's piles of it in the backyard. People just bring it to me.
Hey, And you're the one collecting the money for scrapping it. So
Yeah. My son loads it in the trailer, and I drive it down there, and he unloads it.
hey, now that's a deal that can't be beat.
No. And right now, let me look.
We got 3 people watching. Hell,
Yeah. And right now, shredder tin, which is what I normally get, is $7.50 £100.
that's not bad.
That's the highest it's been in a while.
Now, I was told recently that because nobody had been going out and collecting aluminum cans here for the last year and a half, the price of aluminum at the recycle center had gone up to almost 75 cents a pound, which is what it was way back in the day instead of the 28 cents a pound that it had been being lately.
Well, it's 47 cents a pound right now.
Yep.
Of course, copper took a hit. It was $4.10 Monday. It's $3.61 now.
Yeah, there's a lot of houses without their wiring today.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just glad that they're changing the rules on catalytic converters.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In Chattanooga now, scrap metal dealers have to be able to verify what vehicle it came off of. So if it doesn't have the VIN number on it, no go.
Okay.
And it's going to be like a pawn shop. If you bring them a catalytic converter, they're going to take your driver's license and they're going to connect it with that VIN number. And if that VIN pops up on a stolen, they got your driver's license. They're going to go find you.
Yep.
And a lot of the scrap yards now are not even taking them.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole.
There's been a sizable industry here for the last 5 years or so. People going and taking a hacksaw and cutting people's catalytic converters off their car while they're in the parking lot.
Mm-hmm. Hacksaws, they're taking them battery operated sawzalls.
Yep.
With a Diablo blade on it.
And that kind of is. It's piracy, but it's not one of the good kinds.
No.
I can't say this for certain, but a friend of mine, they saw this guy that they pretty much knew was stealing catalytic converters, casing their parking lot. Because they had a bunch of service trucks out there. He went back by there about midnight one night, just to check on the place, and saw a pair of legs hanging out from underneath one of their service vans, and just drove right over the guy's legs.
Oh!
And drove off. And he's like, what's he going to do?
Oh, man.
Poetic justice.
I was stealing a catalytic converter and somebody ran over my legs.
Well, hope you got insurance because this is going to be expensive.
That's what Murphy calls
poetic justice. Yeah.
No, the problem is, when they show up, they're going to find out that he was stealing catalytic converters. He's going to be arrested, and then the county's going to have to pay for his hospital bill.
It wouldn't happen in Bradley County. We had a situation one time where there was a suspect, and he went to the ER in Bradley County. We knew he had gone to the ER. We just stood there and waited for him to be released and arrested him as soon as he came out of the hospital.
Can you say chain awesome. Gang? I can. And so can the judge.
Oh, Bradley County will do just about anything to avoid paying medical bills for inmates.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Oh, heavenly day. Now, what was it you wanted to tell me, Joe? Or is that
we'll talk about it off here.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, if it was something that had to be PM, that's fine.
Well, very hush and hush, you know.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It's a way to grow last man standing.
Yeah, but because of the subjects we cover, I don't know that I can get the darn thing monetized because there's a lot of unfit for children content that goes on, especially. So
I'm wondering why Facebook never came up with an adults only channel.
Uncle Carl's Secret Humor Group.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm seeing stuff on there I thought would never fly on Facebook.
Oh man, I have Friday nights are dangerous for me because I get used to having no breaks Friday night, and then I got to come in on stupid o'clock on Saturday, and I've got to relearn where I put those breaks because I can't say something half the stuff that I say there. Oh wow! But it is a fun time. It is a really fun time. I mean, it's one of those anything goes sort of experiences that you just remember fondly for a long time because you might see things and hear things that you would not expect to be allowed anywhere. And Uncle Carl still ain't got in trouble for it, so we're trying. Sometimes people would say we're very trying, but
I try to behave on Uncle Carl's page on the green room.
Wire. Anyway,
I do.
Maybe on the page. In the green room, there's no reason to behave.
That's just not my style.
I know. There are things that come to my mind that
I'm too polite.
There's 40 plus years in the factory of industrial language, and somebody will give me a straight line, and I've just got to go. Not even here. I can't say that. No. I want to keep these people as friends. So.
What is Lewis opening? Oh, crushing your water bottle?
Yeah, I do that with beer cans.
For your water bottle?
Mm-hmm.
Great value sweet tea.
Oh, yeah.
You pour it in the water bottle, and it's
back when I was in the military, Lipton used to make those, and they came in the little stick things. You just tear open the top, pour it in your water, and they were specifically designed for water bottles. They had sweet tea with lemon. Yeah, I like that.
Actually, unlike a lot of people, I sometimes just prefer water.
Oh, me too.
No, it's not unlike a lot of people.
I know a lot of people that say, I just can't drink water by itself. I'm like,
I can drink gallons of water.
You know you will die if you don't have water.
Yeah.
And I know water is the basis for coffee and tea, but
and beer.
Sometimes it's good to have it, just plain.
Yep. As long as it's nice and cold.
Yeah.
Can't beat it, especially on a hot day when you climb down off a tractor to try and eat your bologna sandwich and whatever.
Yeah, well, I went to my doctor's appointment. My A1C is still a little high, so I'm even trying to cut back on iced tea. I'll only drink iced tea now with meals. If I'm thirsty between meals, it's strictly water. And then with my meals, I'm going to start going to half sweet tea.
Yep. I have
and
been
then by the time I get used to half sweet, then I'll be able to cut it out altogether because I will not go to unsweetened tea. It's just unsouthern like.
I was about to. I'm glad you went that direction.
Oh, my southern cod.
I don't.
Yeah, I was fixing to disown you, Lewis. Shoot, Louisiana will disown you if you go to unsweet tea.
Now, there's
or make a gumbo without a roux.
There's a difference between sweet tea and church lady tea, because that's got way too much sugar in it, believe me. Or it's nothing but aspartame or one of those other artificial things that.
Pizza Jams, I really try to drink Earl Grey, but God, I mean, I've got to put so much sugar in it to make it good.
Honey and lemon.
Yeah.
I don't know about the lemon. Honey, yeah.
Yeah. I don't normally take lemon in my tea, but I'll try honey.
There's
Yeah.
a flower that they use to flavor Earl Grey tea called bergamot.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever buy the Twinings, they put way too much bergamot in it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Well, you see,
Well,
Twinings is usually the brand that I wind up getting
Yep.
because that's what everybody carries.
I wish I could remember the one that Lindsay swears by. It's one that British people go, oh, this is the good stuff. But even she, and she is English, and she says, well, Earl Grey tea, it's posh. We don't truck with that.
Mm-hmm.
well,
It's not for ordinary people. It's for the hoity-toity rich people.
I like Earl Grey tea.
I,
But I
I
also
like Earl
English
Grey
breakfast.
too, also, but there is a lingering after effect that you guys don't want me around after drinking it.
Are you kidding me?
No,
Oh,
Oh, plain
Joe.
air
Don't
makes
smell
you
like
fart.
flowers.
Joe,
Okay.
please. Drinking just tap water would do that to you.
See, when I drink hot tea, it's usually either a breakfast tea or the what do they call it? Not a wake. It's a spearmint based tea.
Hmm. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think Tezo makes it
Hmm.
or makes the best that I've had.
Yeah.
We used to have spearmint grow wild in our yard back home, and when you're a little kid, you get tummy aches, and
Yeah.
whenever I would have a stomach ache, my
It's
mother
good
would
for
go
that.
out and clip some of that spearmint, throw it into a pot of boiling water, and make me some hot tea. And I'm telling you, man, 1 cup of hot spearmint tea fixed me right up.
Oh
It
yeah.
was it was the
Well,
best home remedy ever.
there's a reason why the chewing gum and candy companies have made a mint off of spearmint and peppermint and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yes, pun definitely intended, but it's good for you.
Mhm.
Like a lot of things aren't nowadays.
well, I'm gonna
But
tell you something. I'm gonna tell you a tea that I won't. It's all the woods around me are gone, so I can't go out and pull it up. I want some good sassafras
sassafras.
tea.
Hmm.
I think Cracker Barrel carries that, but I might be wrong.
Yep.
It's like a seasonal kind of thing.
Yep. Now, when I was a kid, Dad and I had gone out into the woods, just walking around with a pair of shotguns, not actually hunting for anything.
Damn, how mean is the sassafras in your neck of the woods?
That's
And
what's got me worried.
we wasn't looking for sassafras. We were just having a father and son moment that happened to be
Yeah,
in
that was.
East Tennessee, which
Hey, if
many
it had 5
needed
spiky
terrors.
leaves, that wasn't sassafras. Okay.
Nope. We found
7.
a sassafras tree stump, and Dad could smell it like about 15 minutes before I could. He walked straight to it just from the smell, and we went ahead and we dug up some of the roots, took it back to the house. I mean, I'm talking about might have been about 5 pounds of sassafras root.
That's a lot of digging right there.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't interrupt my dad when he's trying to do something like that. I mean, he just went at it and started pulling them up. They were like 3/4 to inch and a half around, and he'd break them off at the stump. We went back and boiled that stuff up for about an hour, and this was just straight sassafras root. No sugar, no nothing added to it, just water. And it was some of the best I have. And that kind of gave me an understanding of why I just love root beer. Because it's close. It ain't the same thing, but it's close.
There was a school I went to here in Chattanooga, and I can't remember which one it was. I want to say it was Chickamauga Elementary. I might be wrong about that. But right outside the playground, right on the edge of the playground, they had sassafras trees growing everywhere. And we used to go out there and like dig it up during recess and sit there. Teacher was like, "What are you doing?" That's right.
It's got the one way I know for sure. Well, the tree, the leaves almost look like a hand, a 3-fingered hand.
Yeah.
But if you crack it, it has almost like a lemony smell.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been known to just break it off, peel the bark, and use it to chew on the stick itself.
Yeah, like sugar cane.
Yep.
And I imagine if there's any place in the world where sugar cane and sassafras grows side by side, that's where people started making tea out of it the first time.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw this up here where you.
When I was first married, my wife's grandfather lived in Port Allen, Louisiana, and that side of the river across from Baton Rouge, lot of sugarcane fields. And boy, when it came time for harvest, and they would gather up all these big long fronds of sugarcane and put them on the trucks. The trucks would go down the road, and they're just falling off left and right. We would go, "Oh, I got some of that in my backyard, I think."
Make sure it ain't poison oak.
Yeah.
No, I thought
they
that
have
was
slightly different effects, but yeah.
Yeah.
And that doesn't necessarily grow very big. I think the biggest one I ever saw was about 12 feet tall. So.
Maybe that big around.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
On average, the trunk is about 2 inches maybe across when it's fully grown.
Huh.
And they don't get 9-12 feet, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I've never seen one bigger than that anyway.
We would go riding down that cane road and see all the sugar cane that fell off the trucks. Man, we gather it up and put it in the back of the car, and we'd take it home, and we would shuck it, and we'd chew on it a little bit, and then we would take and literally grind it off. Take the outside shell, grind it off, and make raw sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't refined, but
no.
Oh no, doesn't have
You
to be. It's probably better for you that way than the refined sugar.
Yeah.
Now, what was the other thing that we found? Oh, there was a natural spring about half a mile from where we lived in Clinton. We had to go and hunt for it, but Dad was really one of those guys that would just walk around in the woods till he found something interesting. And there was watercress and periwinkles in the same place. Now, us kids didn't really care for the periwinkles that much, but we gathered a bunch of the watercress and took it home, and Mom made salads out of that for
Hey, Lewis, I want to read something to you, Lewis.
Okay.
Sassafras is an important ingredient in some distinct foods of the United States. It is the main ingredient in traditional root beer, sassafras root tea, and ground leaves of sassafras are a distinctive additive in Louisiana Creole cuisine.
Yeah, filet.
See the article on filet powder and a common thickening and flavoring agent in gumbo.
Yep.
I had no idea the leaves.
A lot of people put filet in their gumbo. I use okra as the thickening agent in the gumbo, but I do have a jar of filet.
You sprinkle it on top and you add it while you're cooking.
Well, some people like to add it as a garnish.
I add it as a garnish, typically.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll put it in. Depends on how much gumbo or how much okra I can buy.
And now that Lewis knows that he's got sassafras in his backyard,
hey, he's got to make us a pot of gumbo.
Make my own.
Lord, yeah.
Do you know the tradition behind making gumbo? Just anybody. I know Lewis probably does, but
Well,
somebody that was making the gumbo had to go from house to house begging for the ingredients. Okay. And when he got to the house, he would beg them for, I'm trying to make a pot of gumbo. I need chicken or whatever he needed, right? And the person would say, I can give you some chicken, but my gutters need cleaning. And before they'd give him the chicken, he had to go up and clean their gutters and stuff like that. There was always some little, I say cleaning the gutters, that's a little bit extensive, but there was always some little chore you had to do.
Yeah, everything had to be earned.
Yeah, it had to be earned, exactly. And then eventually they went home, made the pot of gumbo, and everybody that had contributed ingredients to the pot of gumbo showed up to eat the gumbo. So all the people that you had worked for to eat the ingredients.
It's definitely a community meal.
Mm-hmm.
There is no way to make a small.
I've never seen a small pot of gumbo.
No, you got to make. It's got to be the biggest pot you got.
Hey, if you don't have to go out and buy a new pot just to make gumbo, you're not making enough gumbo. Okay.
Mm.
Oh, I've got a big pot.
Yeah,
I've got one that's about this big around and about that deep.
True story. I bought a big enough pot to make gumbo. Guess what? Started making the gumbo and realized I had to go out and buy a big enough spoon to stir the damn gumbo.
Dude, I carved my own stirring paddle from a 1x6 board.
Okay. Hey, that's
Swear
a
to God,
announcement. If you buy a big pot to make gumbo, buy a big damn spoon.
I cut the shape out with a jigsaw, and I used sandpaper, and I smoothed I didn't have a router at the time. I used sandpaper and smoothed the edges and rounded the edges, and it took me days to make that paddle. But damn it, I've got it now.
That looks cool on the green screen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
kind of looks like
lightsaber.
Well, not a lightsaber, but the light, the other weapon, the one with the edge that Grand Poobah used in the Mandalorian.
Oh, the dark saber.
Yes, the dark saber. That's it. That's what it looked like when it hit the green screen.
I'm making gumbo with a dark
Bill
saber.
Sartain.
Thanks
for throwing out the big heart of love.
Yeah, really. Bill's one of the people that makes Last Man Standing really work. Bill and Nick Talkert both, because
here's a
neither one of them know when to go to bed.
Here's a public service announcement. If everybody will go out and get their COVID vaccinations, okay, Lewis will make us a pot of gumbo.
I already went to a party like that in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Some friends of ours had invited all the people they knew that had gotten their full vaccinations to a party, and it was a maskless party, and it was freaking awesome. So yeah, we need to do the same thing. I will definitely, and I'll make some good garlic bread on the flat top. And
Costco has 4 different types of shrimp right now. Okay. 3 of them are Gulf shrimp from the Gulf of Tonkin. One of them is actually Gulf shrimp from Louisiana.
Okay, that's what I want.
Where is the Gulf of Tonkin?
Vietnam.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
I like my shrimp.
Technically, it's Gulf shrimp. It just ain't a Gulf you want to swim in.
Yeah.
Actually, I like my shrimp still alive before we start cooking it.
You're not going to find that in Chattanooga.
Other than in a fish store, pet store, I've never seen live shrimp, to be honest. So.
Well, there used to be a guy down the street who every Thursday showed up, had a truckload of shrimp, live shrimp.
I thought about doing that. I thought about getting the truck, putting the freezer on the back, and just driving down to Savannah and picking up fresh seafood and driving it back up here. Because let's face it, Chattanooga doesn't know a damn thing about fresh seafood. Hooters has the freshest seafood in Chattanooga. That ought to tell you something right there.
Yeah. All right,
Well,
guys.
no, I take that back. I've not been to that Pier 88 restaurant, and I've not been to the one down there across from Joe's house.
Well, don't go to Pier 88 and expect good low boil, low country boil.
I'm from Biloxi. I don't expect good seafood up here at all.
Don't.
People up here think
And
Red Lobster is good.
The place that took over the Crystal on Brainerd Road, Boil Shack.
Really?
No. Yeah.
I've not been out that way. And
what was that restaurant down there across from the Choo Choo? Blue Orleans?
Blue Orleans.
I went in there. I was so hyped. I went and ordered a bowl of gumbo. It was about the size of a coffee cup. B,
and B was $16.
B at $16. C, those idiots don't know. Oh wait, is this the after show?
Yeah.
Those idiots don't know a fucking thing about gumbo.
They don't. And their red beans and rice are terrible too.
I'd be willing to bet they've never fucking set foot in New Orleans. Okay?
No, they're from New Orleans. But
I doubt
believe
it.
it or not, everybody from New Orleans can't cook.
Okay, I can buy that one.
Yeah. Pizza Jam says you'd have had to go into the Blue Orleans on Amnicola.
Is that any better?
Yes. Well, it's the same family, but it's two different branches of the same family.
Apparently,
one on Amnicola did have better food
downtown.
Yeah, they were the original.
Okay.
Yeah. What it was the family escaped Katrina up here.
Really?
They were planning on opening a restaurant in New Orleans, but then they evacuated here, and they said, "Well, there's no Cajun Creole restaurant here. We'll just open a restaurant here." And so that's what they did. And then they had a falling out. And then part of the family went and took that place down on Main Street, and the others. Unfortunately, the part of the family with the money went downtown and kind of left the one on Amnicola high and dry.
Yeah. I think I know what the falling out was about. Half of them can't cook.
Now, while I was away from the screen, I had a sudden thought that it didn't seem to make sense at first, but then it might. There's something that's common in Georgia that is probably
boiled peanut.
No, culturally similar to gumbo, the Brunswick stew. I mean, it's a different state. Yeah,
I mean, gumbo is a stew.
Yeah,
technically. Gumbo, that gumbo is so odd. It's actually kind of its own beast. But yes, you could call it a stew.
Yeah, we had some leftover gumbo tonight. Some seafood gumbo that I made a couple of months ago that had in the freezer. So
I've been thawing one for the last 2 days. I pulled it out of the freezer.
Yeah, Pizza Jam, two different families. The family was with the recipes opened the original, and his mom, my sister, worked there.
And I got to ask a question: who the hell is Pizza Jam TV?
That's my nephew.
Well, okay, what's his name? Or can we tell it on? The FBI is not looking for him. Not like your other name.
If he wants to say his name, he can say his name. I'm not going to give it.
That's my problem.
We're looking for it.
Yeah, but the problem. Where are you going, Dan?
I'm wondering that.
I don't have I see.
He's got books in the nebula.
I leaned back in the desk with my keyboard tilted up, and the camera went backwards.
Okay, Evan.
Okay. He said it's my nephew Derek.
Okay, that's my problem. I go to enough sci-fi conventions where I know people by 2 or 3 names. There's a sober name, the not so sober name, and the one you kind of remember because they were naked.
Yeah.
Oh well, and just there's one guy we know that's got one name for radio and another name for in person.
Yes.
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. Lewis used to work with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gary Kelly.
It's funny why I didn't have to say that, but I wasn't going to. But and
Gary Kelly, no relation to the mayor.
Yes.
Yeah. And he
But
used
he ought
to
to
be
be.
real,
He'd be
real
a
big
good
in
mayor.
the Robot Wars stuff.
Yes.
Don't know if he still is, but he used to be.
Yeah.
Out
He's
of
still
my
into
head, out of my head, out of my head. Lewis, could you imagine him as mayor?
Oh God.
Unfortunately, yes.
Hawaiian shirts for everybody. It's now the law.
Mm-mm.
I could live with that actually.
Well, it wouldn't be boring.
Yeah, Aretha
Can you
Frankenstein
ima- hey,
probably
can you
would have
imagine-
gone out of business.
Can you imagine a Chattanooga Choo Choo themed Hawaiian shirt? Somebody should have done it by now. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh my God, I don't think I'm competent, but I can see it.
Hey, one word, 2 syllables. Copyright.
Yeah.
Hey,
Generic.
2 words, 2 syllables.
One answer.
Movie. Okay.
One answer, 2 words. Generic image.
Yeah. You know, I wonder about that sometimes. Isn't the Chattanooga Choo Choo, isn't it actually part of public domain?
No.
Well, the song
Since Glenn Miller died?
Depends on his
Well,
estate.
it was copywritten. It was copyright protected long after his death because, I mean, he died within a couple of years after.
43, I think.
In the middle of World War II. Yeah.
Yeah, because he went down
That
on
would have been after 44.
plane.
So
Yeah,
he
somewhere
was
in the
flying to
English
France
Channel.
when his plane disappeared.
Well, all I know is that one of the documentaries that I was doing, I wanted to use the Andrews Sisters version of Chattanooga Choo Choo, and I tried with ASCAP, BMI, Sony Music, Warner Brothers. Nobody knew who owned it, and nobody would take credit for it. And I knew the second that I used it, somebody would come out of the woodwork and sue me.
Yep.
So because I couldn't find out who to pay for it, I just decided not to use it.
Yep.
Yes, he disappeared on December 15th, 1944. He almost made it through the whole war. Apparently, their plane went down over the English Channel.
Yep.
Well, Lewis, I definitely know a way to find out who owns the copyright.
Yeah, put it on YouTube now.
Put it on YouTube.
We're wondering who owned this copyright. That's why we put it up there so you try and sue us and we can figure out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really. Don't play it now, please. I'm just beginning this show. I don't need a strike this early.
Actually, the Andrews Sisters had a good version of it.
Yep.
But then the Andrews Sisters could do anything.
Oh,
Well, you heard about Roy Rogers and the cat, about the cougar that was chewing up his boots, didn't you?
Yeah, that's an old one.
I don't remember that one.
You got
Pardon me, Roy. Is that the cat that chewed your new shoes?
Oh, God.
Sorry, Joe. I had to. My dad told me that joke in the 60s.
And his dad probably told him that joke in the 40s.
That
No,
joke
he
was
probably
that
heard it
joke was
straight
probably
from the horse's
told by
mouth.
1950. Okay.
Well,
My dad fought in World War II, so.
Yeah.
Well, I heard it on Hee Haw with the barber Archie, or who was?
Oh,
Yeah. Damn, if you hadn't said that, I might be able to remember his name. Now I'm having aphasia again. Yeah, Archie was his first name. He was famous for doing the spoonerism stories where he'd mix up the syllables.
Yeah.
Campbell.
Yeah, Archie Campbell.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Thank you.
all right, guys. This has been entertaining as hell, but I really have to get my real work done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've already gone 41 minutes past your usual time.
Yeah.
And I thank you. I really
You're in
do.
trouble.
Oh, you're going to be in trouble after some of the stuff that gets posted in Uncle Carl's group from your wife. What? She'll probably make you have to leave.
Nah, you know Denise. She's awesome.
Oh,
Hey, we do need to get together and do a gumbo cook, though.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
a low country boil, which,
I think
Well,
most of us all are vaccinated, including Skunk.
really.
well, I got both of my Pfizers, so everything's good to go here. I don't even have to wear a mask at work anymore. I got the little sticker on my hard hat, and
Hey, let me tell you, the first time I went to Costco and they didn't have masks, I was thrilled.
It felt weird.
No, it
I
felt liberating.
actually the first
Even the
time
lady
I went
next to me was like, "We don't have to wear masks." I was like, "No shit."
I was
All right, guys.
actually
All right. Good night.
Good night.
good night.
Thanks, Lewis.
Uh-huh.
Right,
And
Lewis.
normally Lewis just disappears on us.
It
Now
really
he's
is.
there. He is.
There you go.
Okay.
Hey,
I'm
well,
all alone now. I missed Lewis already.
actually, I was a little bit
We
frightened
missed
the first time I
something.
got to the store.
Pizza Jam says, "Sign me up."
Oh,
Sign you
is
up,
that for the gumbo cook? Yeah.
probably.
Well,
Hey, don't like. I've been thinking about they have these infrared what do you call it? I guess you call it a burner. They're like hot plates, but they're infrared, and they heat up and instead of being like the metal ones, you have to have a special pot or something like that.
oh, okay. I thought for a moment there you were talking about the warmers to keep hot food from getting cold after it's been cooked.
Well, they're kind of like that, but they're you can actually get these things up to like 450, 500 degrees, something like that. So it's an actual burner. But
Wow, you could actually cook with that.
Exactly. But you have to have pots that are approved for the infrared burners.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And they're electrics, but you can take them anywhere, plug them in anywhere. And I actually thought when we were grilling out with the smoker grill, there's certain things you can't do with the smoker grill, like boiling brats and beer. Okay. And I thought about
that would be difficult.
I thought about buying one of those just for things like that, where you want to heat up food that you're going to put on the grill, or heat up food that goes with what you're cooking on the grill. That sort of thing. Like you want to heat up baked beans or whatever. And I'm wondering if those things can get hot enough, and can you find a pot that you can put on, a large enough pot that you can put on an infrared burner to do something like gumbo or low country boil.
That would be a challenge.
It would be a challenge. I had to look it up and find out for certain. But I thought they had a 2-for-1 sale at one time when they were advertising those burners on TV. Buy one now, we'll send you a second one for free.
Yeah, really.
And I thought about buying at least one of those, because you could run a cord out to the table on the deck and be smoking meat on the smoker and then cooking whatever goes with it on the burner without heating up your house in the middle of summer. That's one of the things I love about that Traeger grill we got, the pellet grill. Because it's electric, you can turn it on and off whenever you want to, pretty much. But it keeps all that heat out of your house. Everybody said, "Oh, well, it's an electric grill. It's going to waste electricity." I told a lady at Costco the other day, I said, "No," it says, "You don't understand. It takes 400 watts for this thing to start up. And once it starts up, after about 5 minutes, it cuts down to 100 watts. It only takes 100 watts to keep it running."
Less than your normal light bulb inside the house.
Exactly. And your regular stove is 1,200 to 1,500 watts, depending on which burner or you're using in it.
A combination of burner and oven, yeah.
Exactly. And so you don't use much electricity to run this thing, and B, it's outside your house, so you're not taking away from your air conditioning.
Yeah.
So you're saving money there too.
Yeah, that reminds me, I'll have to hook up the air conditioner soon.
Yes, you will. Okay. Anyway, I thought about getting a couple of those little infrared burners and putting them on the table on the back deck, and actually cooking everything out there so as not to heat up the house. And those things. The infrared ones supposedly don't use a lot of electricity. It's kind of like the LED light of cooking technology.
Infrared LED. Okay. Yeah, basically, I can see that.
Something like that. I think it's actually a burner, but I think it's basically a ceramic stovetop, but just one burner. But.
Yeah. I have thought seriously about getting you remember from the conventions in the con suite, you'd have these triple crock pots.
Yeah.
Oh, we got We use those at HallowCon for nachos. We have nachos, chili, and cheese.
Mm-hmm. I have been thinking strongly about buying one of those just for here.
Yeah.
Did you see? I just made a Bloody Mary and had the 2 pieces of celery in it. Did y'all just see that a few minutes ago?
No, I didn't.
No.
Okay, that's the only food I've had today. I'm hungry as hell, and we're talking about food.
Yeah. Well, just to give you an idea about the HallowCon crowd, the last year we were there, they ate 30 pounds of nachos.
I like nachos.
They ate 30 pounds of nachos, 4 cans of cheese, the big 10-pound cans, 4 10-pound cans of cheese, and 4 10-pound cans of chili.
Damn, I'm hungry.
I'm sorry.
I took home Little Debbie's.
Yeah, because there was nothing left.
No, they didn't touch the Little Debbie's. They all went for the nachos and cheese.
Oh Lord, yeah. Good Lord! Imagine if you'd been
Imagine if you'd done
a burrito bar. Yeah. I mean, seriously.
Now here's the thing. I spent more on Little Debbie's than I did on nachos and cheese.
You know not to do that again.
Yeah, I don't buy Little Debbie's.
Unless you really, really like Little Debbie's. Yeah.
Yeah, I was always told, Con Sweets, you got to have Little Debbie's. You got to have Little Debbie's. Hell, they barely touched the Little Debbie's. They tore up the nachos and cheese.
Well, Lord, yeah.
They can donate some garbanzo beans.
Yeah. 40-year-old garbanzo beans, yeah.
Actually, John, yes. Because they're talking about doing some type of garbanzo bean, vegan, whatever.
You know what I saw? My uncle, I was told you I was cleaning my uncle's apartment out. He had vegan beans. I was like, aren't all beans vegan unless you put pork in them or something like that? I mean, you actually have to advertise them as vegan beans?
Yeah.
I do if you want to sell them to vegans. Yeah.
What are they putting in beans that makes them non-vegan is what I want. Other than pork, I can understand pork and beans or
pork and beans, yeah,
but are they putting pork fat or something like in all sorts of beans? I mean, if I go buy pinto beans, does it have pork in it? Or is it not vegan? Really? Do we have any vegans in the audience? Is there a vegan in the house?
Pizza Jams. You understand what we're talking about. Chime in.
It really doesn't matter. It's the branding that sells things.
That's why I'm wondering if it's just, hey, let's sell beans to vegans.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Hey, I want to sell.
They'll buy anything that ain't got meat in it.
Hey, I want to sell vegan diet water.
Oh yeah.
It's like that dehydrated water. Just add water.
No, it's just water. You don't have to add anything. That's the point. You don't add anything. It's just water.
Dehydrated water. Just add water.
Preferably from some natural spring somewhere. And believe me, there's enough of those around East Tennessee where you could make a killing. That water's been flowing for thousands of years, and it's still ice cold. I've always wondered
if they'll ever come up with dehydrated beer.
If they do, I'm going to get fired because I'm going to have a few packets at work.
Because, if they want to get, you always hear about how the military's having trouble recruiting people.
Mm-hmm.
Start putting dehydrated beer in the MREs.
Oh, come on! Just take a note from the British Navy and have a rum ration. And
I put it this way: the Afghan government complained that the German army in Afghanistan had beer. Okay, and it's an Islamic country; they don't allow alcohol. So the Germans shipped all the beer back to Germany or whatever, and then left Afghanistan. So that'll tell you something, Afghanistan.
Yeah. If you wanted to defeat the German army, take away their beer.
You know, it's kind of funny that Iraq is an Islamic country, and they sort of allow alcohol, but they don't. It's kind of a gray area.
Mm-hmm.
They won't arrest you for having it, but they don't want you bringing it into their country, sort of thing. And it's kind of funny because historically, Iraq is probably one of the first places where they started making beer.
Yeah. Isn't the oldest beer recipe that's been able to be translated from
Egyptian?
Egyptian?
Yeah, the oldest beer recipe is Egyptian. The only reason that we don't know more about Iraq and we know more about Egypt is Egypt had better stone.
Oh, to carve the hieroglyphs in.
If Iraq had better stone, we'd know more about their country.
Well, they did.
Do you know why the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth Rock?
Beer.
They ran out of beer. They had to. That's where they hit land to get fresh water to brew beer.
Well, if you had looked at one of the water barrels on that ship and seen all the green crap that was growing in it, you probably wouldn't want to be drinking water either.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the reasons they had beer.
Well, beer, wine, brandy. It all goes back to European and probably even earlier than that.
Yeah. Hey, Dan, got a question for you. Real quick. Have you ever heard of a fellow named Elsprague de Camp?
Yes.
Yeah.
I've got a copy of Lost Continents up here.
Elsprague de Camp was a fairly famous historian, and all of the books he wrote were basically on ancient history. He wrote a book.
He actually wrote science fiction as well.
He did.
Fantasy
well, he did too. But he also he was a friend of Robert Howard's.
Yes, he was.
And Robert Howard is the guy that invented Conan the Barbarian and Cole the Conqueror.
Yep.
And the problem was Robert Howard, his mother had cancer and was in the hospital, and she died.
Yep.
And Robert was so distraught about it, he walked out in the hospital parking lot, pulled a pistol out of his glove box in his car, and shot himself right there. I mean, the same day his mother died, he shot himself.
I thought it took longer than that. I thought it took a few years after that, but
supposedly it was the same day in the I mean, literally, he walked out of the hospital, walked out, got in the car, and shot himself. How I read it. I might be wrong, but
as far as I recall, his entire life he had been. Nowadays, he'd probably been diagnosed as bipolar or at least chronically depressed.
But Elsprague de Camp was a friend of his and friend of his wife's. And after he died, he had all this writing stuff sitting in his office, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he came in and helped Mr. Howard's wife get all that stuff together. And he is the reason that Marvel Comics bought in to the Conan the Barbarian and Cole the Conqueror series.
Yeah.
I can't remember the book. I can't remember who published the books for Robert Howard. He was the one who kept that going. And he was the one who actually got the movie done with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was the guy that was like, he was the guy behind the whole moving, keeping everything moving thing. So he was helping Robert Howard's wife the whole time.
I want to say Lynn Carter, but I could be wrong. It's just I'm working from memory here. I'm not looking it up. I've got the books on the shelves, but
I met him and his wife Catherine at some of the early LibertyCons.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine, probably the most lovely woman I've ever met in my life was Catherine DeCamp. And anyway, he was there at the convention. He was talking about some stuff, but he wrote a book that I bought. And strangely enough, I was walked into a Books A Million one day just looking for something to read, and I found on the, they have that bin of cheap book, get the books the hell out the store.
Yeah, the cutout bin. Yeah,
right. They had L. Sprague's DeCamp, The Ancient Engineers.
Yes.
And if you ever get a chance, I'll just go ahead and tell everybody here. Not that there's a lot of people here, but I would tell you, if you ever get a chance to read this book, read this book.
It would be it would be amazing.
But one of the things he put in The Ancient Engineers is he talked about how humans started out as hunter-gatherers.
Yeah.
Just gathering berries or whatever and hunting for whatever food they could catch and kill and eat. And he said that somewhere down the line, they figured out how to make beer. And because you had to wait for these jugs of beer to ferment, you had to wait around for a while, so you couldn't hunt or gather while you're waiting on the beer to ferment.
Why not? It was going to ferment if you were there or not.
Well, you had to kind of wait around and protect it, or whatever. But eventually they started keeping animals close by and actually growing the ingredients to make the beer,
mm-hmm.
which started the agricultural revolution of farming and keeping herds and that sort of thing like that. So basically, beer is why humans went from hunter-gatherers to farmers.
Yeah, there are a couple of other plants in there that were used by the priest class that contributed to farming too, but they weren't very important to anybody other than the priests. So
he also said he also had another interesting thing, that early villages had a hard time getting food. You had to work very hard to get your food.
Yep.
So basically, the more people you had, the more food you could get. And eventually, you started developing a food surplus. About 100 people in your village, you would have a food surplus where everybody was getting enough to eat, and you had extra.
So you could give it away.
So that you had people that did not have to hunt or gather food. Yeah. And they could think about other things, like being a writer.
Yeah, being creative. Yeah, being a philosopher. Yeah.
If you don't have to go out and hunt deer, you can sit down and write science fiction. But in his book, he meant, and that's where it came in, The Ancient Engineers, was that if they had 100 people in the village, they had enough food, they had a food surplus, you had one guy that could sit down and figure out how to make things work. So he could build a better plow, or he could figure out how to make a horse collar or something like that. That was a technological.
An auger to irrigate the fields with.
Exactly. How to build a windmill to pump water. And that, things of that nature. And so, the more people you had, the more engineers you could have. The more engineers you had, the more failures you could overcome and come out with a good product that would actually help you gather more food or whatever. But that was a really good book. I read that book several times. I've got it around here somewhere.
Oh yeah. Well,
all right, guys.
The thing is,
oh no, it's midnight. Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop out. I'm gonna start dropping off a lot of my channels. Okay. I'm gonna keep the Stupid O'Clock group page going. And Dan, I'll bring Aphelion online.
Okay.
But I'm gonna
not
tap
the Aphelion.
Yeah.
The humans can't handle it.
Yeah. Well, the humans will have to deal with it. Aphelion is coming in.
Yeah.
So I want to say good night, guys. Thank y'all for being here.
I've still got an apartment to clean out. We're not done yet, so.
All right.
Joe, are we going to stay online here?
Yeah, the show will keep. Dan will be running the show.
I just want to talk to you offline. So I may drop out and go over to whatever real quick.
Hold on a minute. Let me tell you where to go.
Yeah, I know where to go. Straight.
And
well,
to get it off when you get there.
yeah. So we're just going to wrap
a
the
cigarette
show
with
up.
you because they already got lighters. Okay.
Just meet me in the green room. I guess we're going to close out the show then.
Okay. Unless I don't know, does Dan need to do anything?
Are you?
I can. I mean, I've got everything pulled up right here. I can go ahead and close it.
Okay. Well, if you want to go ahead and end the show, Dan, we'll just end the show and let John. Me and John will talk real quick, and then I'll talk to you about what I had planned.
Dan can hang on too. He might be interested.
Yeah. So yeah, Dan, go ahead and wrap up the show. Tell all your people good night, and we will.
All right. We miss Nick. We miss Bill, and we're going to go ahead and call it a night tonight. And once again, this is Last Man Standing, and apparently, we're going to be one of the new Rising Tide shows that will be offered on the Rising Tide Network. And yeah, I'm sorry I can't do all the hashtags and everything, but that'll come in later.
I bet Joe can throw that up there real quick.
Probably so. Or I could do this.
There we go, that thing. Yeah.
And we're gonna have to get that re-edited and
aren't we, though?
And added to, because the Last Man Standing is not the only thing that is brand new, because there's a lot of new stuff coming in, according to Brian.
Get a list of that stuff, don't we?
Yeah. Well, talk to Brian. The power behind the throne, or actually the power in the throne.
Do we have a throne?
He does.
Do we need to buy a throne?
No. We can make do
my
with
mom
a
just bought an $800 massage chair. I think I can find as a throne.
All right, let's say goodnight, everybody.
All right, good night, everybody. Let's roll the end credits.
Roll that.